The Miami sun blazed relentlessly on the pristine hood of Ethan Thompson's Aston Martin Vantage as it weaved through the palm-lined streets of Coral Gables. The car's sleek silver body reflected the opulence of the city, a fitting chariot for one of Miami's most eligible bachelors on the day he was to be taken off the market. Ethan's knuckles whitened as he gripped the steering wheel, his designer watch catching the sunlight with every turn. At 30 years old, Ethan had it all: looks that turned heads, a fortune that opened doors, and now a bride waiting at the altar. Yet, as he navigated the familiar roads to the church, an unfamiliar sensation gnawed at his insides. Doubt. "Get it together, Thompson," he muttered to himself, adjusting the rearview mirror to catch a glimpse of his immaculately groomed appearance. His chiseled jawline was freshly shaved, and his dark hair was styled to perfection. The custom-tailored Tom Ford tuxedo fit him like a glove, a stark contrast to the casual attire he usually sported while running his tech empire. As he approached a red light, Ethan's mind wandered to Olivia Parker, his soon-to-be wife. They had been Miami's golden couple for the past 2 years, gracing the covers of local magazines and setting social media abuzz with their public appearances. Olivia, with her statuesque figure and megawatt smile, was the perfect complement to Ethan's rugged good looks and boyish charm. Their whirlwind romance had been the talk of the town. They'd met at a charity gala where Olivia had been representing her family's philanthropic foundation. One dance led to dinner, dinner led to a string of exotic vacations, and before long, Ethan found himself down on one knee, presenting Olivia with a ring that cost more than most people's homes. The light turned green, and Ethan accelerated, the powerful engine purring beneath him. He glanced at the clock on the dashboard and frowned. He was running late, a habit that had always irritated Olivia. As if on cue, his phone began to ring, the custom ringtone he'd set for her, filling the car's interior. Ethan hesitated for a moment before answering. "Hey, beautiful," he said, trying to infuse his voice with an enthusiasm he didn't quite feel. "Ethan, where are you?" Olivia's voice was sharp, tinged with anxiety and a hint of annoyance. "The guests are starting to arrive, and you're nowhere to be seen. Please tell me you're almost here." "I'm on my way, babe," Ethan replied, accelerating a bit more. "Traffic's a nightmare. You know how it gets on Saturdays." He heard Olivia take a deep breath on the other end of the line. "Ethan, this isn't just any Saturday. This is our wedding day, the biggest day of our lives. I need you here, now." Guilt washed over Ethan. He knew how much this day meant to Olivia. She had been planning it meticulously for months, ensuring every detail was perfect. I know. I'm sorry. I'll be there before you know it. You won't even have time to miss me." "I already miss you," Olivia said, her voice softening. "Just hurry, okay? I can't wait to see you at the end of the aisle." As Ethan opened his mouth to respond, his eyes darted to the rearview mirror. A car behind him was approaching fast, too fast. "Olivia, I gotta go. I'll see you soon. The words were cut short as the speeding car clipped Ethan's rear bumper. The Aston Martin fishtailed, and Ethan dropped his phone, both hands flying to the steering wheel. He fought to regain control, but the car's momentum was too great. Time seemed to slow as the vehicle spun, tires screeching against the asphalt. In those endless seconds, Ethan's life flashed before his eyes, not in the cliched montage of childhood memories, but in a series of missed opportunities and roads not taken. He saw himself turning down a scholarship to travel the world, choosing instead to follow in his father's footsteps. He remembered the look of disappointment on his mother's face when he announced he was dropping out of college to start his own company. He relived the moment he met Olivia, wondering if the spark he'd felt was love or simply the thrill of the chase. The world outside the car became a blur of green and blue as the Aston Martin left the road, careening down a steep embankment. Ethan's body was thrown about the cabin, the seatbelt digging into his chest as he desperately clung to consciousness. With a sickening crunch of metal and the tinkling of shattered glass, the car came to a violent stop at the bottom of the ravine. Steam hissed from the crumpled hood, and the acrid smell of burnt rubber filled the air. Ethan's head lolled to the side, a thin trickle of blood running down his temple. In the distance, sirens wailed, growing louder with each passing second. But for Ethan, the world was growing quieter, darker. His last conscious thought wasn't of Olivia waiting at the altar, or of the empire he'd built. Instead, he found himself wondering about the road not taken, the life unlived. As paramedics rushed down the embankment, Ethan Thompson, Miami's golden boy, slipped into the welcoming embrace of unconsciousness. His wedding day, meant to be a beginning, had become something else entirely. The end of one life and the uncertain dawn of another. Miles away, in a quaint apartment on the outskirts of Miami, a young woman named Alana Martinez was getting ready for her first day at a new job. She had no way of knowing that her path was about to intersect with Ethan's in a way that would change both their lives forever. As Ethan was loaded into an ambulance, his phone lay forgotten in the wreckage of his car. On the cracked screen, Olivia's name flashed repeatedly, her increasingly frantic voice messages going unanswered. The clock on the phone blinked impassively, marking the minutes as they ticked by, minutes that were supposed to be counting down to Ethan's wedding, but were now measuring the uncertain span of his survival. In the hospital where Ethan would soon arrive, the staff went about their routine, unaware that their newest patient would bring with him a storm of emotions, conflicts, and life-altering decisions. As the ambulance sped through the streets of Miami, its siren cutting through the carefree chatter of beachgoers and tourists, the stage was set for a drama that would captivate the city and change the lives of everyone involved. Ethan Thompson's perfect life had been shattered in an instant. Now, as he hovered between life and death, the real journey was about to begin, a journey of self-discovery, unexpected love, and the true meaning of happiness. The Miami sun continued to shine brightly, oblivious to the unfolding drama, as the city held its breath, waiting to see what fate had in store for its favorite son. The opulent ballroom of St. Cecilia's Church buzzed with anticipation. Crystal chandeliers cast a warm glow over the sea of Miami's elite, all dressed in their finest attire. The air was thick with the scent of exotic flowers and whispered speculation. Olivia Parker stood at the back of the church, her white Vera Wang gown a masterpiece of silk and lace, her manicured fingers fidgeting with her bouquet of white roses and orchids. "Where is he?" Olivia muttered, her perfectly made-up face creasing with worry. She turned to her maid of honor, Sophia, who was busy adjusting the train of Olivia's gown. "Have you heard anything from Ethan?" Sophia shook her head, her gold earrings catching the light. "Nothing yet, Liv. But you know Ethan. He's probably just stuck in traffic or making some last-minute deal on his phone." Olivia's blue eyes flashed with a mixture of anger and concern. "It's our wedding day, Soph. He should be here already." She glanced at the ornate clock on the wall, its gilded hands seeming to mock her with each passing minute. As if on cue, Olivia's phone buzzed. She snatched it up, hope flooding her features, only to have it replaced by disappointment when she saw it wasn't Ethan. "It's his best man, Jake," she said, answering the call. "Jake, where's Ethan? Please tell me he's with you." Jake's voice came through, tinged with worry. "Olivia, I don't know how to tell you this. There's been an accident." The world seemed to tilt on its axis as Olivia listened to Jake's words. Her knees buckled, and Sophia rushed to support her. "What do you mean, an accident? Is he okay? Where is he?" Olivia's voice rose, attracting the attention of nearby guests. "They're taking him to Miami General," Jake replied, his voice cracking. "It's bad, Olivia. They don't know if he'll make it." The bouquet slipped from Olivia's fingers, white petals scattering across the polished floor. She barely registered Sophia taking the phone from her hand, barely heard the gasps and murmurs of concern from the gathering crowd. In that moment, Olivia Parker's perfectly planned world began to crumble. Across town, the emergency room of Miami General Hospital burst into frenzied activity as the ambulance carrying Ethan Thompson screeched to a halt. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the attending trauma surgeon, barked orders as paramedics wheeled in the stretcher. It's male, 30 years old, victim of a high-speed MVA, possible head trauma, internal bleeding suspected, BP is dropping, pulse thready. One of the paramedics rattled off as they rushed Ethan through the sliding doors. Dr. Rodriguez's keen eyes took in Ethan's battered form, the torn tuxedo, the blood matting his dark hair. Get him to Trauma 1 Stat. I want a full set of scans, blood work, and page neurology. Move it, people. As the medical team swarmed around Ethan, a young woman in hospital scrubs watched from the sidelines, her dark eyes wide with shock. Alana Martinez had just clocked in for her first shift as a custodian at Miami General, and already the day was proving to be more intense than she had imagined. Dios mío, Alana whispered, crossing herself as she watched the doctors working frantically to save Ethan's life. Something about the injured man tugged at her heart. Perhaps it was the stark contrast between his current state and the obvious wealth his attire suggested. Or maybe it was simply her compassionate nature responding to a soul in distress. Back at the church, chaos had erupted. Guests murmured in shock as the news of Ethan's accident spread like wildfire. Olivia, supported by Sophia and her parents, made her way down the aisle, not as a radiant bride, but as a woman on the verge of losing everything. "We need to get to the hospital," Olivia said, her voice hoarse. Now, as they rushed out of the church, reporters who had been waiting to capture Miami's wedding of the year now swarmed around them, shouting questions. Flashes from cameras created a dizzying strobe effect, adding to the surreal nature of the moment. "Miss Parker, is it true Ethan Thompson was in an accident? Olivia, will the wedding be postponed? Is there any truth to the rumors that Ethan was having second thoughts?" Olivia flinched at the last question, a seed of doubt planting itself in her mind. She pushed it aside, focusing on getting to Ethan. As they climbed into the waiting limousine, Olivia caught a glimpse of her reflection in the window, a vision in white, a bride without a groom. At Miami General, Dr. Rodriguez emerged from the trauma room, her scrubs splattered with blood. She approached Jake, who had arrived moments earlier, his face ashen with worry. "Mr. Thompson's condition is critical," Dr. Rodriguez said, her voice calm but grave. "We've managed to stabilize him for now, but he's suffered a severe concussion and there's bleeding in his brain. We're prepping him for emergency surgery." Jake ran a hand through his hair, struggling to process the information. "But he'll be okay, right? I mean, it's Ethan. He's always okay." Dr. Rodriguez's expression softened. "We're doing everything we can, but I have to be honest. The next 24 hours are crucial. Even if he survives, there's a possibility of long-term damage. We won't know more until after the surgery." As if on cue, the elevator doors opened and Olivia burst out, still in her wedding gown, followed by a trail of family members and friends. Her eyes locked with Jake's, and she knew from his expression that her worst fears were confirmed. "Where is he?" Olivia demanded, her voice cracking. "I need to see him." Dr. Rodriguez stepped forward. "Miss Parker, I presume? I'm Dr. Rodriguez. I'm afraid Mr. Thompson is being prepared for surgery. You can't see him right now, but I assure you, we're doing everything in our power to help him." Olivia's composure crumbled. She collapsed into a nearby chair, her gown pooling around her like a deflated dream. "This can't be happening," she whispered. "We were supposed to be saying our vows right now. We were supposed to be starting our life together." As the group huddled together, offering comfort and support, Alana watched from a distance, her heart aching for the beautiful bride and the man fighting for his life. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was witnessing the beginning of something momentous, something that would change lives forever. Hours ticked by, the waiting room a tableau of anxiety and fear. Olivia paced restlessly, her once perfect hairdo now disheveled, her makeup streaked with tears. Jake fielded calls from concerned friends and relentless media, while Sophia tried in vain to convince Olivia to change out of her wedding gown. "I can't," Olivia insisted. "It feels like if I take it off, I'm giving up on him, on us." As night fell, casting long shadows through the hospital windows, Dr. Rodriguez finally emerged from the operating room. The group surged forward, desperate for news. "Mr. Thompson made it through the surgery," Dr. Rodriguez began, and a collective sigh of relief swept through the room. But the doctor's serious expression tempered their hope. However, the trauma to his brain was severe. "We've induced a coma to give his brain time to heal and reduce swelling." "A coma?" Olivia repeated, her voice barely above a whisper. "For how long?" Dr. Rodriguez shook her head. "It's impossible to say. It could be days, weeks, or longer. And I must prepare you. There's a possibility he may never wake up." The words hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. Olivia swayed on her feet, and Jake quickly moved to support her. "Can I see him now?" she asked, her voice small and broken. "Yes, but only for a few minutes. He's being moved to the ICU," Dr. Rodriguez replied. As Olivia was led away, Alana, who had been discreetly tidying the waiting area, felt a lump in her throat. She had overheard everything, and the tragedy of the situation overwhelmed her. On impulse, she slipped away to the hospital's small chapel. Kneeling in the quiet space, Alana lit a candle and bowed her head. "Lord," she whispered in Spanish, "please watch over Ethan Thompson and give strength to those who love him. Guide the doctor's hands and bring healing to his body and mind." Meanwhile, Olivia stood by Ethan's bedside, barely recognizing the man before her. Tubes and wires snaked from his body, the steady beep of monitors the only indication of life. His handsome face was swollen and bruised, a stark contrast to the vibrant man she had expected to marry. "Oh, Ethan," Olivia breathed, reaching out to touch his hand. "What happened? Where were you going? Why weren't you at the church?" The questions tumbled out, met only by the rhythmic hiss of the ventilator. As she stood there, still in her wedding gown, Olivia felt as though she was standing on the edge of a precipice. The future she had so carefully planned now lay in ruins, replaced by an uncertain path filled with fear and doubt. Outside the ICU, life in Miami continued. The sun set over the ocean, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. But for those gathered at Miami General, the world had stopped turning. As night settled over the city, Ethan Thompson lay still and silent, unaware of the vigil being kept at his bedside, or of the young woman in the chapel whose prayers would soon intertwine with his fate in ways no one could have predicted. The stage was set for a story of love, loss, and redemption, a tale that would captivate Miami and change the lives of Ethan, Olivia, and Alana forever. The following days unfolded in a haze of uncertainty and grief. Miami, a city accustomed to the glitz and glamour of its elite, found itself captivated by the tragedy that had befallen one of its favorite sons. The story of Ethan Thompson's accident on his wedding day spread like wildfire, dominating local news and social media. Olivia Parker, once the envy of Miami's social scene, now found herself thrust into a role she never anticipated, that of the devoted fiancée keeping vigil at her comatose partner's bedside. The transition from blushing bride to grief-stricken caregiver was jarring, to say the least. On the third day after the accident, Olivia sat in Ethan's private room in the ICU, her fingers intertwined with his unresponsive hand. She had finally changed out of her wedding gown, but the designer outfit she wore seemed just as out of place in the sterile hospital environment. "Miss Parker," a gentle voice interrupted her thoughts. Olivia looked up to see Dr. Elena Rodriguez entering the room, chart in hand. "How are you holding up?" Olivia attempted a weak smile. "As well as can be expected, I suppose. Any changes?" Dr. Rodriguez shook her head, her expression sympathetic but professional. "I'm afraid not. Ethan's condition remains stable, but there's been no significant improvement in his brain activity." Olivia's shoulders sagged. How long can this go on? When will he wake up? I wish I could give you a definitive answer, Dr. Rodriguez replied, taking a seat next to Olivia. The truth is, with brain injuries like Ethan's, recovery is unpredictable. It could be days, weeks, or, she hesitated, or longer. The unspoken possibility hung heavy in the air. Olivia felt a lump forming in her throat. You mean he might never wake up? Dr. Rodriguez placed a comforting hand on Olivia's arm. We're not at that point yet. Ethan is young and was in excellent health before the accident. That works in his favor. But I want you to be prepared for a potentially long recovery process. Olivia nodded, blinking back tears. What can I do? I feel so helpless. Talk to him, Dr. Rodriguez suggested. Play his favorite music, read to him. Some studies suggest that coma patients may be able to hear and process information on some level. And most importantly, take care of yourself. Ethan will need you to be strong when he wakes up. As Dr. Rodriguez left the room, Olivia turned back to Ethan, studying his face. The bruises were beginning to fade, but he still looked so unlike the vibrant man she knew. She leaned in close, whispering, "I'm here, Ethan. I'm not going anywhere. Please come back to me." Meanwhile, on the other side of the hospital, Alana Martinez was starting her shift. As she pushed her cleaning cart down the hallway, she couldn't help but think about the handsome man in the ICU and his beautiful, heartbroken fiancée. Over the past few days, she had caught glimpses of Olivia and overheard snippets of conversation among the staff. The tragic story had touched something deep within Alana. As she approached Ethan's room, Alana slowed her pace. She could see Olivia through the glass, her head bowed, shoulders shaking with silent sobs. Alana's heart ached at the sight. Without thinking, she knocked softly on the door. Olivia's head snapped up, hastily wiping away tears. "Yes?" Alana hesitated, suddenly unsure of herself. "I'm sorry to disturb you, miss. I just wanted to see if you needed anything. A fresh blanket, perhaps, or some water." Olivia blinked, as if truly seeing Alana for the first time. "Oh, thank you. That's very kind. I'm fine, really." Alana nodded, about to retreat when Olivia spoke again. "Actually, would you sit with me for a moment? I could use the company." Surprised but touched, Alana entered the room. She perched on the edge of a chair, her dark eyes filled with compassion. "Of course, miss. I'm Alana, by the way." "Olivia," the other woman replied, attempting a smile. "I'm sorry, I must look a mess." "Not at all," Alana said softly. "You look like someone who loves very deeply." Olivia's eyes welled up again at Alana's words. "I do love him. So much. I don't know how to do this. How to sit here day after day, not knowing if he'll ever wake up." Alana reached out, hesitantly placing her hand over Olivia's. "You don't have to know how. You just have to be here, one day at a time. And it's okay to take breaks, to take care of yourself too." Olivia looked at Alana, really looked at her. There was something about this young woman, a warmth, a genuineness that Olivia found comforting. "Thank you, Alana." I needed to hear that. As the two women sat in companionable silence, neither could have predicted how their lives would become intertwined in the coming weeks and months. Alana, driven by a deep sense of empathy and a growing attachment to both Ethan and Olivia, found herself spending more and more time in and around Ethan's room. She would come early before her shift to leave fresh flowers by his bedside, or stay late to tidy up and make sure Olivia had everything she needed. At first, Olivia barely noticed Alana's presence, too consumed by her own grief and worry. But gradually, she began to look forward to the young woman's visits, finding comfort in her quiet strength and unwavering optimism. One evening, about 2 weeks after the accident, Alana arrived to find Olivia in tears, clutching her phone. "What's wrong?" Alana asked, rushing to Olivia's side. "It's the board of Ethan's company," Olivia choked out. "They're talking about appointing an interim CEO. It's like they're giving up on him." Alana sat next to Olivia, offering silent support. "They're just doing what they think is best for the company," she said gently. It doesn't mean they're giving up on Ethan. Olivia shook her head, frustration evident in her voice. You don't understand. Ethan's whole life is that company. He built it from nothing. If he wakes up and it's not there, when he wakes up, Alana corrected softly, and when he does, he'll need you more than any company. Olivia looked at Alana, struck by the conviction in her voice. How do you do that? How do you stay so positive? Alana smiled, a hint of sadness in her eyes. Where I come from, hope is sometimes all we have. My abuela always said, La esperanza es lo último que se pierde. Hope is the last thing to be lost. As Alana spoke, neither woman noticed the slight twitch of Ethan's finger, a tiny movement lost in the emotional moment between them. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into a month. The media frenzy around Ethan's accident began to die down, replaced by newer scandals and stories. But for those closest to him, life remained in a state of suspended animation. Olivia found herself torn between her vigil at Ethan's bedside and the demands of her own life. Her family's foundation needed her attention, and Ethan's company was facing increasing pressure in his absence. She began to spend less time at the hospital, guilt gnawing at her every time she left. In contrast, Alana's presence became more constant. She would read to Ethan during her breaks, everything from the day's headlines to poetry in her native Spanish. She talked to him about her life, her dreams, and her growing friendship with Olivia. One afternoon, as Alana was changing the water for Ethan's flowers, she noticed something different. His eyelids seemed to flutter, ever so slightly. Heart racing, she called for Dr. Rodriguez. After a thorough examination, Dr. Rodriguez turned to Alana with a cautious smile. There does seem to be an increase in his brain activity. It's subtle, but it's there. This could be a good sign. Alana felt a surge of hope. She couldn't wait to tell Olivia the news, but as she reached for her phone, she hesitated. Was it her place to share this information? She was just the cleaning lady, after all. In that moment, Alana realized how deeply she had become invested in Ethan's recovery, in a way that went beyond mere compassion for a patient. As the sun set over Miami, casting a golden glow through the hospital windows, Alana sat by Ethan's bedside, her hand resting lightly on his. "Come back to us, Ethan," she whispered. "Adieu, there are people here who need you." Little did Alana know that her gentle presence and unwavering care were sowing the seeds of a connection that would soon blossom into something neither she nor Olivia could have anticipated. The stage was set for a complex web of emotions, loyalties, and unexpected love to unfold, with Ethan Thompson at its center, silently guiding the course of three intertwined destinies. As Miami's sweltering summer gave way to a milder autumn, life at Miami General Hospital fell into a rhythm of sorts. For Ethan Thompson, time stood still in his comatose state, but for those around him, the world continued to spin, bringing with it a myriad of changes and challenges. Olivia Parker found herself increasingly torn between her vigil at Ethan's bedside and the mounting pressures of her life outside the hospital. The initial shock of the accident had worn off, replaced by a gnawing sense of uncertainty, and though she was loath to admit it, frustration. One crisp October morning, Olivia strode into Ethan's room, her Louboutins clicking sharply against the linoleum floor. She was dressed impeccably in a tailored Chanel suit, a stark contrast to the sterile hospital environment. "Good morning, Mr. Thompson," she said, her voice carrying a forced cheerfulness. "I hope you're ready for some excitement because the board meeting today is going to be a doozy." As she settled into the chair beside Ethan's bed, Olivia's facade cracked slightly. She reached out to brush a strand of hair from his forehead, her touch lingering. "Oh, Ethan," she sighed, "I don't know how much longer I can do this. The company needs you. I need you." Unbeknownst to Olivia, Alana had just arrived for her shift and was standing outside the room, a fresh bouquet of flowers in her hands. She hesitated, not wanting to intrude on the private moment. Olivia continued, her voice dropping to a whisper. "They're talking about selling off parts of the company. Ethan, your life's work, I'm trying to hold them off, but without you there—" She trailed off, frustration evident in her tone. Alana knocked softly on the door, not wanting to eavesdrop any further. Olivia quickly composed herself, straightening in her chair. "Come in," she called out, her socialite mask firmly back in place. "Good morning, Miss Parker," Alana said, entering the room with a warm smile. "I brought fresh flowers for Mr. Thompson." Olivia nodded, a flicker of genuine warmth breaking through her composed exterior. "Thank you, Alana. You're always so thoughtful." As Alana busied herself arranging the flowers, Olivia found herself studying the young woman. Over the past weeks, Alana had become a constant presence, a source of quiet strength that Olivia hadn't realized she'd come to rely on. "Alana," Olivia said suddenly, "would you mind sitting with Ethan for a while? I have a board meeting to attend and I don't like leaving him alone." Alana's eyes widened in surprise. "Of course, Miss Parker, I'd be happy to." Olivia stood, gathering her designer handbag. She leaned over Ethan, pressing a quick kiss to his forehead. "I'll be back soon, darling," she murmured. As she turned to leave, she paused by Alana. "Thank you," she said softly, squeezing the younger woman's arm. Once Olivia had left, Alana settled into the chair by Ethan's bed. She pulled out a worn paperback from her pocket. "Love in the Time of Cholera," by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. "Hola, Ethan," she said softly, her accent more pronounced in the quiet room. "Shall we continue where we left off yesterday?" As Alana began to read, her melodic voice filling the room with tales of love and longing, something stirred deep within Ethan's unconscious mind. Perhaps it was the cadence of her voice, so different from the clipped tones he was used to, or the passion with which she read the lyrical prose. Whatever the reason, for the first time in weeks, Ethan's brain showed a spike in activity. Miles away, in the sleek boardroom of Thompson Technologies, Olivia sat at the head of the table, her posture rigid as she faced down the board of directors. The atmosphere was tense, filled with unspoken doubts and mounting pressure. "Gentlemen," Olivia began, her voice steady despite her inner turmoil, "I understand your concerns about the company's direction in Ethan's absence. However, I assure you that selling off key divisions is not the answer." Harold Blackwell, a silver-haired veteran of the tech industry, leaned forward, his expression skeptical. "With all due respect, Miss Parker, while we sympathize with your situation, the company cannot remain in limbo indefinitely. We need to take decisive action to protect our shareholders' interests." Olivia felt a flare of anger at his condescending tone. "Ethan built this company from the ground up. He wouldn't want us to dismantle it at the first sign of trouble." "Be that as it may," another board member chimed in, "we can't ignore the reality of our situation. Without Ethan at the helm, investor confidence is waning. We need to show that we're taking proactive steps." As the debate raged on, Olivia found her thoughts drifting back to the hospital, to Ethan lying still and silent, and to Alana, with her quiet strength and unwavering optimism. For a moment, she wished she could trade places with the young woman to escape the pressure and expectations that seemed to be closing in around her. Back at the hospital, Alana continued reading to Ethan, unaware of the subtle changes occurring in his brain. As she reached a particularly poignant passage, she paused, looking at Ethan's face. "You know, Ethan," she said softly, "I sometimes wonder what you were like before the accident. Olivia tells me you were brilliant, driven, but I see something else in you too, something gentle, maybe even a little lost." She reached out, hesitantly taking his hand in hers. "And I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I feel like I know you somehow, like we've met before, in another life maybe." Alana chuckled softly at her own words. "My abuela would say I'm being fanciful, but there's something about you, Ethan Thompson, something that makes me believe in miracles." As if in response to her words, Ethan's fingers twitched almost imperceptibly in Alana's grasp. She gasped, her heart racing. "Ethan, Ethan, can you hear me?" Alana quickly pressed the call button, her voice trembling with excitement as she called for Dr. Rodriguez. Within minutes, the room was a flurry of activity as medical staff swarmed around Ethan, checking vitals and running tests. Dr. Rodriguez emerged from the crowd, her expression cautiously optimistic as she approached Alana. "There's definitely increased brain activity," she confirmed. "It's still too early to say for certain, but this could be a sign that he's starting to emerge from the coma." Alana felt tears of joy welling up in her eyes. "Should we call Miss Parker?" she asked, suddenly remembering Olivia. Dr. Rodriguez nodded. "Yes, I think that would be wise. This could be a crucial turning point in Ethan's recovery." As Alana stepped out of the room to make the call, she felt a mix of emotions swirling within her. Joy at the possibility of Ethan's recovery, anticipation of Olivia's reaction, and a strange, unexpected pang of something she couldn't quite name. Little did she know that this moment would mark the beginning of a complex emotional journey that would challenge everything she thought she knew about love, loyalty, and her own heart. In the boardroom, Olivia's phone buzzed insistently. She glanced at it, ready to dismiss the call, but froze when she saw it was from the hospital. Excusing herself hastily, she stepped out into the hallway, her heart pounding. "Hello? Alana? What is it? Is Ethan okay?" The questions tumbled out in a rush. Alana's voice came through, tinged with excitement. "Miss Parker, there's been a change. Ethan, he moved. Dr. Rodriguez says there's increased brain activity. They think he might be waking up." Olivia felt her knees go weak, leaning against the wall for support. I'll be right there," she managed to say before ending the call. As she re-entered the boardroom, her mind was a whirlwind of emotions. Hope, fear, excitement, and a twinge of guilt all vied for dominance. "Gentlemen," she announced, her voice shaking slightly, "I'm afraid we'll have to continue this another time. There's been a development with Ethan." Leaving behind a room full of stunned executives, Olivia rushed out, her heels echoing in the hallway as she ran towards an uncertain future. In that moment, the fate of Thompson Technologies seemed insignificant compared to the possibility of Ethan finally waking up. As Olivia's car sped through the Miami traffic, Alana sat by Ethan's bedside, her hand still clasping his. "Oh, come back to us, Ethan," she whispered, unaware of the complex web of emotions and relationships that were about to be tested in ways none of them could have anticipated. The next 48 hours at Miami General Hospital were a whirlwind of activity, hope, and mounting tension. Ethan Thompson's room became the epicenter of a storm of medical professionals, each monitoring every slight change in his condition. For Olivia Parker and Alana Martinez, it was a time of breathless anticipation, punctuated by moments of both elation and crushing disappointment. Olivia had arrived at the hospital in a flurry of designer perfume and barely contained emotion. She'd burst into Ethan's room, her eyes wild with hope, only to find him still motionless on the bed. "I don't understand," she'd said, turning to Dr. Rodriguez. "Alana said he moved." Dr. Rodriguez had explained patiently about the increased brain activity, the subtle signs that Ethan might be emerging from his coma. "It's a process, Miss Parker," she'd said gently. "We need to be patient." Now, 2 days later, Olivia sat slumped in a chair by Ethan's bed, her usually immaculate appearance showing signs of wear. Her Hermes scarf was askew, her hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. Dark circles under her eyes betrayed her lack of sleep. Across the room, Alana hovered uncertainly. She'd been a constant presence throughout the ordeal, fetching coffee, adjusting pillows, and offering quiet words of encouragement. But now, watching Olivia's growing frustration, she felt out of place, unsure of her role in this unfolding drama. "Miss Parker," Alana said softly, "why don't you take a break? I can sit with Mr. Thompson for a while." Olivia looked up, her blue eyes clouded with exhaustion and something else, fear, perhaps, or doubt. "I can't leave him," she said, her voice hoarse. "What if he wakes up and I'm not here?" Alana approached cautiously, laying a gentle hand on Olivia's shoulder. "You need rest," she insisted. You won't do Ethan any good if you collapse from exhaustion. For a moment, Olivia leaned into Alana's touch, drawing strength from the younger woman's unwavering support. Then, as if catching herself, she straightened up, shrugging off Alana's hand. "You're right," she said, her socialite mask slipping back into place. "I should freshen up. I look a fright." As Olivia gathered her things, Alana settled into the chair by Ethan's bed. She watched as Olivia hesitated at the door, looking back at Ethan with a mixture of love and something that looked almost like resignation. Then, with a small nod to Alana, she was gone, alone with Ethan. Alana felt a familiar sense of calm wash over her. She leaned in close, her voice a soft murmur. "It's just us now, Ethan. You can wake up. It's safe." As if in response to her words, Ethan's eyelids fluttered. Alana's heart leapt into her throat. "Ethan," she whispered, hardly daring to hope. "Ethan, can you hear me?" Slowly, painfully slowly, Ethan's eyes opened. They were unfocused at first, darting around the room in confusion. Then they settled on Alana's face. "Agua," he croaked, his voice rough from disuse. Alana blinked in surprise. Had he just spoken Spanish? Shaking off her confusion, she quickly reached for the water glass, helping Ethan take a small sip. "I'll get the doctor," she said, her voice trembling with excitement. But as she turned to leave, Ethan's hand shot out, grasping her wrist with surprising strength. "No," he said, his eyes locked on hers. "Stay." Alana hesitated, torn between her duty to alert the medical staff and the inexplicable pull she felt towards this man she'd come to know only in silence. "Okay," she said softly, settling back into the chair. "I'm here." For several long moments, they simply looked at each other. Ethan's eyes, a warm brown that Alana had only imagined before, seemed to search her face with an intensity that made her breath catch. "Do I know you?" Ethan finally asked, his brow furrowed in confusion. Alana felt a pang in her chest. Of course, he wouldn't remember her. She was just the cleaning lady who'd sat with him while he was unconscious. "No," she said gently. "I'm Alana. I work here at the hospital." Ethan's frown deepened. "But I feel like I've heard your voice before. You were reading to me, weren't you, about love in the time of something?" Alana's eyes widened in surprise. "Yes," she breathed. "Love in the time of cholera. You could hear me?" Ethan nodded slowly, wincing slightly at the movement. "I could hear you. Your voice. It was like a lifeline. I followed it back." Alana felt tears pricking at her eyes. Before she could respond, the door burst open, and Olivia rushed in, followed closely by Dr. Rodriguez. "Ethan!" Olivia cried, pushing past Alana to reach the bed. "Oh my God, you're awake!" Ethan blinked, his expression confused as he looked at Olivia. I'm sorry, but who are you?" The room fell silent, the only sound the steady beep of the heart monitor. Olivia recoiled as if she'd been slapped, her face draining of color. "Ethan, it's me, Olivia, your fiancée." Ethan's eyes darted between Olivia and Alana, confusion and distress evident on his face. I can't remember." Dr. Rodriguez stepped forward, her voice calm and professional. "Mr. Thompson, please try to remain calm. Memory loss is not uncommon after a traumatic brain injury. We'll need to run some tests to assess the extent of the amnesia." As the doctor began checking Ethan's vitals, Olivia turned to Alana, her eyes flashing with a mix of hurt and accusation. "You were here when he woke up? Why didn't you call me immediately?" Alana flinched at Olivia's tone. "I'm sorry, Miss Parker, it all happened so fast. And he asked me to stay." Olivia's eyes narrowed. "He asked you to stay? What exactly has been going on while I've been away?" Before Alana could respond, Ethan's voice cut through the tension. "Please," he said, his voice strained. I don't know what's happening. Can someone explain?" Dr. Rodriguez intervened, her tone brooking no argument. "I think it's best if we limit visitors for now. Mr. Thompson needs rest, and we need to run some tests. I'm going to have to ask everyone to leave." Olivia looked like she wanted to protest, but something in the doctor's expression made her hold her tongue. She leaned down, pressing a kiss to Ethan's forehead. "I'll be back soon, darling. Try to rest." As Olivia swept out of the room, Alana lingered for a moment. Her eyes met Ethan's, and she saw in them a mixture of fear and something else. A spark of recognition, perhaps, or a plea for help. "Oh, gracias," Ethan whispered, so softly that Alana wasn't sure she'd heard correctly. As Alana left the room, her mind was reeling. Ethan had woken up, but he didn't remember Olivia. He'd spoken Spanish, and he seemed to remember her voice, her presence. What did it all mean? In the hallway, Olivia was pacing, her heels clicking angrily on the linoleum floor. She turned as Alana approached, her eyes blazing. "We need to talk," she said, her voice low and dangerous. "Now!" Alana nodded, her heart racing. She could feel the ground shifting beneath her feet, the carefully constructed world she'd built around Ethan's bedside crumbling. As she followed Olivia to a quiet corner of the waiting room, Alana knew that nothing would ever be the same again. The awakening of Ethan Thompson had set in motion a chain of events that would test the boundaries of love, loyalty, and identity. And at the center of it all stood Alana Martinez, a young woman who had never imagined that her simple act of kindness would lead her into the heart of a storm that threatened to upend her entire world. The hospital waiting room, usually a place of hushed conversations and nervous anticipation, now crackled with tension as Olivia Parker faced Alana Martinez. The two women, so different in background and circumstance, were united by their connection to the man lying in the nearby hospital room, a man who had just awakened to a world he no longer recognized. Olivia's voice was low and controlled, but her eyes blazed with a mixture of fear and anger. "I want you to tell me exactly what's been going on while I've been away, and don't leave anything out." Alana swallowed hard, her hands clasped tightly in her lap to stop them from trembling. "Miss Parker, I promise you, nothing inappropriate has happened. I've just been sitting with Mr. Thompson, reading to him, talking to him. Olivia interrupted sharply. "He's been in a coma, Alana. What could you possibly have to talk about?" Alana felt a flicker of defiance. "People in comas can often hear, Miss Parker. I thought it might help his recovery to have someone speaking to him, keeping him connected to the world." Olivia's eyes narrowed. "And it had to be you, not his fiancée, not his family or friends, but the cleaning lady." The word stung, and Alana felt her cheeks flush with a mixture of shame and anger. "I was here," she said quietly. "I saw how hard it was for you to sit here day after day. I just wanted to help." For a moment, Olivia's mask slipped, and Alana caught a glimpse of the vulnerability beneath. "He remembered you," Olivia said, her voice barely above a whisper. "He woke up, and he remembered your voice, but he didn't know who I was. Do you have any idea how that feels?" Alana reached out instinctively, but Olivia flinched away. "I'm so sorry, Miss Parker. I never meant to..." "To what?" Olivia snapped, her defenses back up. "To get so involved, to overstep your boundaries, because that's exactly what you've done, Alana. You're not family, you're not even a friend. You're an employee of this hospital, and you've inserted yourself into a situation that doesn't concern you." Alana felt as if she'd been slapped. She stood up, her own anger rising to match Olivia's. "With all due respect, Miss Parker, I may not be family, but I've been here every day, reading to him, talking to him, making sure he wasn't alone. Where were you?" The words hung in the air between them, sharp and accusatory. Olivia recoiled as if physically struck, her face paling. For a long moment, neither woman spoke, the weight of unspoken truths and unacknowledged fears pressing down on them both. Finally, Olivia spoke, her voice cold and distant. "I think it's best if you don't come near Ethan's room anymore. I'll be speaking to hospital administration about having you reassigned." Alana felt her heart sink. The thought of not seeing Ethan, of not being there for him as he navigated this confusing new reality, was almost physically painful. but she knew she had no right to protest. "I understand," she said softly. "I truly am sorry, Miss Parker. I only wanted to help." As Alana turned to leave, Olivia's voice stopped her. "He spoke Spanish, didn't he?" When he first woke up, Alana hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, he asked for water." "In Spanish?" Olivia's brow furrowed. "Ethan doesn't speak Spanish. At least, he never has before." Before Alana could respond, Dr. Rodriguez approached, her expression grave. "Miss Parker, Miss Martinez, I need to speak with you both about Mr. Thompson's condition." The two women followed the doctor to a small conference room, their personal conflict momentarily set aside in the face of more pressing concerns. Dr. Rodriguez didn't waste time on pleasantries. "Mr. Thompson is suffering from a form of retrograde amnesia," she began. "He seems to have lost most of his personal memories from before the accident. However, his procedural memory, his ability to perform tasks and skills, appears to be largely intact." Olivia leaned forward, her voice tight with worry. "But he'll recover his memories, won't he? It's just temporary." Dr. Rodriguez's expression was carefully neutral. "It's difficult to say at this point. Brain injuries are complex, and recovery can be unpredictable. Some patients regain their memories quickly, others may take months or years, and in some cases, what?" Olivia pressed. "In some cases, the memories may never fully return," Dr. Rodriguez finished gently. Olivia sat back, her face a mask of shock. Alana, unable to help herself, reached out and placed a comforting hand on Olivia's arm. This time, Olivia didn't pull away. "There's something else," Dr. Rodriguez continued. "Mr. Thompson seems to have acquired some new skills or knowledge that he didn't possess before the accident. His ability to speak Spanish, for instance." Alana and Olivia exchanged a startled glance. "How is that possible?" Alana asked. Dr. Rodriguez shook her head. "We're not entirely sure. There have been rare cases of patients awakening from comas with new abilities or knowledge, but the phenomenon is not well understood. It could be that Mr. Thompson had latent language skills that were somehow activated by the trauma, or it could be something else entirely." "What do we do now?" Olivia asked, her voice small and uncertain. "For now, we need to focus on Mr. Thompson's physical recovery and cognitive rehabilitation," Dr. Rodriguez explained. "We'll be running more tests, and I'd like to bring in a neuropsychologist to work with him. As for his personal recovery, it's important that we reintroduce him to his life slowly, without overwhelming him with information or expectations." As the doctor continued to outline the treatment plan, Alana found her thoughts drifting to Ethan. She imagined him lying in that hospital bed, surrounded by strangers telling him about a life he couldn't remember, a world he no longer recognized. Her heart ached for him. When the meeting concluded, Alana hung back as Olivia spoke quietly with Dr. Rodriguez. She knew she should leave, respect Olivia's wishes, and stay away. But something kept her rooted to the spot. A sense of unfinished business, of a story only half told. As if sensing her thoughts, Olivia turned to her. The anger from earlier had faded, replaced by a weariness that seemed to age her beyond her years. "Alana," she said softly, I may have been hasty earlier. Ethan's going to need all the support he can get. Perhaps we can find a way to work together on this." Alana felt a surge of relief and gratitude. "Thank you, Miss Parker. I promise, I only want what's best for Mr. Thompson." Olivia nodded, a ghost of a smile touching her lips. "I believe you, and please, call me Olivia." As the two women left the conference room, an uneasy truce formed between them. Neither could have predicted the challenges that lay ahead, or the ways in which their lives would become inexorably intertwined. In his hospital room, Ethan Thompson stared out the window at the Miami skyline, a city he knew but didn't recognize. His mind was a jumble of fragments, snatches of conversation in a language he shouldn't know, flashes of a life he couldn't remember. And through it all, the echo of a gentle voice reading to him about love in a time of cholera. As the sun set over Miami, casting long shadows across the hospital room, Ethan closed his eyes, trying to make sense of the chaos in his mind. And somewhere in the depths of his fractured memory, a face began to form. Not the blonde beauty who claimed to be his fiancée, but a dark-eyed woman with a warm smile and a voice that felt like home. The stage was set for a journey of rediscovery, a quest for identity, and a love story that would defy all expectations. For Ethan, Olivia, and Alana, the real adventure was just beginning. The following days at Miami General Hospital were a whirlwind of medical tests, therapy sessions, and emotional roller coasters for Ethan Thompson. As he struggled to piece together the fragments of his past, he found himself increasingly frustrated by the disconnect between what he was told about his life and what he felt in his heart. On a particularly humid Miami morning, Ethan sat propped up in his hospital bed, surrounded by an array of personal items Olivia had brought from their shared penthouse. Designer watches, custom-tailored suits, and framed photos of a life he couldn't remember lay scattered around him like artifacts from a stranger's museum. Olivia perched on the edge of his bed, her perfectly manicured hand resting lightly on his. "Do any of these things look familiar, darling?" she asked, her voice tinged with hope and desperation. Ethan's brow furrowed as he picked up a sleek, modern watch. "This is an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak," he said, surprising himself with the knowledge. "It's worth over 50,000. Olivia's face lit up. "Yes, that's right. It was a gift from me for your last birthday." "You remember?" But Ethan shook his head, setting the watch down with a mixture of confusion and distaste. "I know what it is, but I don't remember it being mine. It feels wrong somehow." Olivia's smile faltered. "What do you mean, wrong?" Ethan struggled to articulate the strange disconnect he felt. "It's like I'm looking at someone else's life. I know these things are expensive, that they're supposed to be important, but they don't feel like me." Olivia's eyes filled with tears. "But this is you, Ethan. This is our life together, the parties, the yacht, the penthouse view of Miami Beach. Don't you remember how happy we were?" Ethan looked at her, seeing the pain and longing in her eyes. He wanted to remember, wanted to be the man she clearly loved. But every time he tried to force the memories, he felt a searing pain in his head and a sense of wrongness that he couldn't shake. "I'm sorry, Olivia," he said softly. "I'm trying. I really am. But it's all just blank." Before Olivia could respond, there was a soft knock at the door. Alana entered, pushing a cart with Ethan's lunch. She hesitated when she saw Olivia, clearly unsure if she should interrupt. "Come in, Alana," Ethan said, unable to hide the relief in his voice. Something about the young woman's presence always seemed to calm the chaos in his mind. Olivia stiffened slightly, but managed a polite nod. The uneasy truce between the two women had held over the past few days, but tension still simmered beneath the surface. As Alana set up Ethan's lunch tray, she couldn't help but notice the scattered luxury items. Her eyes lingered on a photo of Ethan and Olivia at some glittering gala, both of them smiling for the cameras. The Ethan in the photo looked polished, confident, and utterly foreign to the man she'd come to know. "How are you feeling today, Mr. Thompson?" Alana asked, her voice warm and free of the pressure Ethan often felt from others. "Please, call me Ethan," he said, offering her a small smile. "And I'm not sure how I'm feeling, to be honest." Olivia stood abruptly. "I should go. I have a meeting with the board of your company, Ethan. They're anxious for updates on your condition." Ethan nodded, a flicker of guilt crossing his face. He knew he should feel something more for this woman who was supposedly the love of his life, but every interaction left him feeling drained and confused. After Olivia left, a palpable sense of relief settled over the room. Alana busied herself adjusting Ethan's pillows, her movements gentle and familiar. "Alana," Ethan said softly, "can I ask you something?" She paused, looking at him with those dark, compassionate eyes that seemed to see right through him. Of course. What was I like before the accident? I mean, was I happy? Alana hesitated, clearly weighing her words carefully. I didn't know you before, Ethan. Not really. I only saw you the day they brought you in. Ethan's face fell, but Alana continued, her voice soft. But I've gotten to know you over these past weeks. The you that exists now, in this moment. And, Ethan prompted, desperate for some sense of who he truly was. Alana smiled, a genuine warmth in her expression. And I think you're kind and curious and much stronger than you realize. You've faced this impossible situation with grace and determination. That has to count for something, doesn't it? Ethan felt a warmth spread through his chest at her words. For the first time since waking up, he felt seen, truly seen. Not as the man he was supposed to be, but as the man he was in this moment. Gracias, Alana, he said, the Spanish flowing naturally from his lips. Alana's eyes widened slightly at his use of Spanish, but she recovered quickly. De nada, Ethan. Estoy aquí para ti. As they slipped into easy conversation in Spanish, neither of them noticed Olivia standing just outside the door, her hand frozen on the handle. She'd returned to retrieve her forgotten purse, only to find her fiancé speaking intimately in a language he'd never known with the woman who was quickly becoming a thorn in her side. Olivia's fingers tightened on her purse strap, her mind racing. She'd been patient, understanding, but watching Ethan light up in Alana's presence in a way he never did with her was becoming unbearable. Something had to change, and soon. As she strode away from the room, Olivia's heels clicking sharply on the linoleum floor, she made a decision. It was time to bring in reinforcements. If Ethan couldn't remember their life together, she'd make sure to surround him with reminders of who he really was, the powerful, ambitious man she'd fallen in love with. Little did Olivia know that her actions would set in motion a chain of events that would force Ethan to confront not just who he was, but who he wanted to be. As Miami's unforgiving sun beat down on the hospital windows, the stage was set for a clash of identities, a test of loyalties, and a love that would defy all expectations. In his hospital room, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing around him, Ethan laughed at something Alana said, feeling for the first time since waking up that he might just be exactly where he was meant to be. The following week brought a whirlwind of changes to Ethan Thompson's world. Olivia, determined to jog his memory and reclaim the man she loved, had orchestrated a parade of visitors from Ethan's past. Business associates, college friends, and family members filed through his hospital room, each bearing stories and mementos of a life Ethan struggled to recognize. On a particularly stifling Miami afternoon, Ethan found himself face to face with his older brother, Alexander Thompson. The family resemblance was unmistakable, but Ethan felt no spark of recognition as he looked into eyes that mirrored his own. "Little brother," Alexander said, his voice gruff with emotion. "It's good to see you awake. You had us all worried sick." Ethan nodded, offering a polite smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "I'm sorry. I know this must be difficult for you. I wish I could remember." Alexander waved off his apology, settling into the chair by Ethan's bed. "Don't worry about it. You'll get there. You've always been stubborn as hell. A little knock on the head isn't going to keep you down for long." As Alexander launched into stories of their childhood, tales of summer vacations in the Hamptons and heated sibling rivalries, Ethan found his mind wandering. He nodded at appropriate intervals, but the anecdotes felt like scenes from a movie he'd never watched. Halfway through a story about a particularly wild spring break in Cancun, Ethan's attention was caught by a familiar figure passing by his room. Alana, pushing her cleaning cart, paused briefly at his door. Their eyes met, and Ethan felt an inexplicable sense of calm wash over him. "Eth, you listening?" Alexander's voice cut through his reverie. "Sorry, Alex. I just got distracted for a moment," Ethan mumbled, tearing his gaze away from Alana as she continued down the hallway. Alexander followed his brother's line of sight, his brow furrowing slightly. "Right. Well, as I was saying, after we bailed you out of that Mexican jail, the rest of the visit passed in a blur of unfamiliar names and places. By the time Alexander left, promising to return with photo albums, Ethan felt drained and disoriented. As the door closed behind his brother, Ethan let out a long sigh, closing his eyes against the throbbing headache that had been building all afternoon. He was so lost in his discomfort that he didn't hear the soft knock at his door. "Ethan, are you all right?" His eyes snapped open at the sound of Alana's voice. She stood in the doorway, concern etched across her features. "Alana," he breathed, relief evident in his tone. "Yes, well, no, not really. My head is killing me." She moved to his side, her movements efficient yet gentle as she checked his vitals. "You've had a lot of visitors lately. It must be overwhelming." Ethan nodded, wincing at the movement. "Everyone keeps telling me who I'm supposed to be, but none of it feels right. It's like they're describing a stranger." Alana's hand paused on his wrist, her touch lingering a moment longer than necessary. "Who do you feel like, Ethan? Not who they say you are, but who you feel you are right now." The question caught him off guard. No one had asked him that before. Everyone was so focused on making him remember his old self that they hadn't considered who he might be now. "I don't know," he admitted quietly. "But I do know that the only time I feel like myself is," he trailed off, suddenly aware of how his words might sound. "Is when," Alana prompted gently. Ethan met her gaze, seeing nothing but warmth and understanding in her dark eyes. "When I'm talking to you," he finished softly. A faint blush colored Alana's cheeks, but before she could respond, a sharp voice cut through the moment. "What's going on here?" Olivia stood in the doorway, her eyes darting between Ethan and Alana. The tender scene before her confirmed her worst fears. Alana quickly stepped back, her professional demeanor sliding into place. "Miss Parker, I was just checking on Mr. Thompson's vitals. He has a headache." Olivia's eyes narrowed. "I'm sure that's not in your job description as a custodian." "Olivia, please," Ethan interjected, his tone sharper than he intended. Alana was just helping. A tense silence fell over the room. Olivia's gaze softened as she looked at Ethan, seeing the pain and confusion in his eyes. "I'm sorry, darling. I didn't mean to snap. I'm just worried about you." She moved to his side, taking the spot Alana had vacated. "How was your visit with Alex? Did it help jog any memories?" Ethan shook his head, immediately regretting the movement as his headache intensified. "No, nothing concrete, just vague impressions." Olivia's face fell, but she quickly masked her disappointment. "Well, it's still early. Dr. Rodriguez says it's important to keep exposing you to familiar things and people. Which reminds me, the board is eager to see you. I thought perhaps we could arrange a small gathering, just a few key executives." As Olivia continued outlining her plans, Ethan's gaze drifted to Alana, who was quietly tidying the room. Their eyes met briefly, and in that moment, Ethan felt a connection that transcended memory, a sense of understanding and acceptance that he hadn't experienced with anyone else since waking up. Alana gave him a small, reassuring smile before slipping out of the room, leaving Ethan to navigate the complex web of expectations and relationships that defined his former life. As the door closed behind her, Alana leaned against the wall, her heart racing. She knew she was treading dangerous waters. The connection she felt with Ethan was undeniable, but he was engaged to another woman, a woman who could offer him a life of luxury and status that Alana could never match. Yet as she pushed her cart down the hospital corridor, Alana couldn't shake the feeling that she was meant to play a role in Ethan's journey of rediscovery, whether as a friend, a confidant, or something more. Only time would tell. Back in the room, Ethan half listened to Olivia's plans, his mind a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. He knew he should be grateful for her dedication, for the life she was trying to help him reclaim. But with every well-intentioned effort to resurrect his past, Ethan felt increasingly drawn to the possibility of a different future, one that aligned more closely with the man he felt himself becoming. As Miami's relentless sun began to set, casting long shadows across the hospital room, the stage was set for a confrontation that would force Ethan to choose between the life he once knew and the one he was beginning to envision. The echoes of his past were growing louder, but so too was the call of an uncertain yet enticing future. The next morning dawned bright and clear, Miami's skyline shimmering in the early light. For Ethan Thompson, however, the day ahead loomed like a storm on the horizon. Olivia had arranged for a small contingent from the board of Thompson Technologies to visit, hoping that exposure to his professional life might trigger some memories. As Ethan sat in his hospital bed, adjusting the collar of the crisp dress shirt Olivia had brought for him, he felt a sense of unease growing in the pit of his stomach. He glanced at his reflection in the small mirror on the bedside table, barely recognizing the man staring back at him. A soft knock at the door interrupted his thoughts. "Come in," he called, expecting to see Olivia or one of the nurses. Instead, Alana's familiar face appeared, her warm smile instantly easing some of his tension. "Good morning, Ethan," she said, pushing her cart into the room. "I thought I'd tidy up a bit before your visitors arrive." Ethan's relief must have been evident on his face, because Alana's smile faltered slightly. "Are you okay?" she asked, concern lacing her voice. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I'm not sure. I feel like I'm about to take a test I haven't studied for, except the subject is my own life." Alana approached, her dark eyes full of understanding. "It's okay to be nervous, Ethan. You don't have to pretend to be someone you're not." "But that's just it," Ethan said, frustration creeping into his voice. "Everyone expects me to be this brilliant, ruthless businessman. What if that's not who I am anymore? What if I don't want to be that person?" Alana hesitated for a moment, then sat on the edge of his bed, her voice low and earnest. "Ethan, listen to me. You've been given a rare opportunity here. Most people go through life never questioning who they are or what they want. You have a chance to rediscover yourself, to choose who you want to be." Her words struck a chord deep within Ethan. He reached out, taking her hand in his. "Thank you, Alana. I don't know what I'd do without you." The moment was interrupted by the sound of approaching voices. Alana quickly stood, resuming her task of straightening the room. Moments later, Olivia entered, followed by 3 men in expensive suits. "Darling," Olivia said, her voice bright but with an undercurrent of tension. "Look who's here to see you." Ethan plastered on a smile as Olivia made introductions. Harold Blackwell, the silver-haired CFO, James Chen, head of research and development, and Michael Donovan, the company's lead counsel. Each man regarded Ethan with a mixture of concern and barely concealed assessment. As the men settled into chairs around his bed, Ethan caught sight of Alana slipping quietly out of the room. Their eyes met briefly, and she gave him an encouraging nod before disappearing into the hallway. Well, Ethan," Harold began, his tone jovial but his eyes sharp. "It's good to see you looking so well. We've all been terribly worried." "Thank you," Ethan replied, trying to inject some warmth into his voice. "I appreciate you all taking the time to visit." Michael leaned forward, his lawyer's instincts clearly at work. "Ethan, we understand you're still recovering, but we wanted to touch base about the company. There are some pressing matters that require your attention." Ethan felt Olivia's hand on his arm, a gesture of support that felt more like a restraint. "I'm not sure I'm ready to discuss business yet," he said carefully. "My memory is still very fragmented." James Chen spoke up, his voice smooth and persuasive. "Perhaps if we brought you up to speed on some of our current projects, it might help jog your memory. We're on the verge of a breakthrough in AI technology that could revolutionize the industry." As James launched into a detailed explanation of neural networks and machine learning algorithms, Ethan found his mind drifting. The technical jargon washed over him, familiar yet distant, like a language he'd once known but had long since forgotten. Suddenly, a flash of memory hit him, not of boardrooms or business deals, but of a small, sun-drenched workshop. He saw himself, younger and more carefree, tinkering with circuit boards and lines of code. The image was accompanied by a sense of pure joy and creativity that felt more real than anything he'd experienced since waking up. "Ethan, are you all right?" Olivia's voice cut through his reverie. He blinked, realizing that everyone was staring at him expectantly. "I'm sorry," he said, shaking his head slightly. I remembered something." Olivia's face lit up with hope. "That's wonderful. What was it? A board meeting? A product launch?" Ethan hesitated, knowing his answer would disappoint her. "No, I was in a workshop, working on something. Just for fun, I think. I felt happy." The excitement in Olivia's eyes dimmed, replaced by confusion. Harold cleared his throat, clearly uncomfortable. "Well, I'm sure you dabbled in some personal projects in the early days, but Ethan, you haven't had time for that sort of thing in years. You've been focused on building Thompson Technologies into a global powerhouse." Michael nodded in agreement. "Which is why we need you back at the helm, Ethan. The board is getting restless, and our competitors are circling. We need to project strength and stability." Ethan felt a surge of irritation. "And how am I supposed to do that when I can barely remember my own name, let alone the intricacies of running a multi-billion-dollar company?" A tense silence fell over the room. Olivia squeezed Ethan's hand, her voice soothing but with an edge of desperation. "Darling, no one expects you to jump back in immediately. We just want to help you remember who you are." Ethan pulled his hand away, suddenly feeling claustrophobic. "And what if who I am now isn't who I was then? What if I don't want to be that person anymore?" The words hung in the air, heavy with implication. Harold exchanged a worried glance with Michael, while James looked thoughtful. Olivia's face had gone pale, her carefully constructed world threatening to crumble around her. Before anyone could respond, there was a knock at the door. Dr. Rodriguez entered, her timing impeccable. "I'm sorry to interrupt, but Mr. Thompson needs his rest. I'm afraid I'll have to ask you all to leave." As the visitors filed out, each muttering awkward goodbyes, Olivia lingered. "We'll figure this out, Ethan," she said softly. "I promise." With a quick kiss on his cheek, she left, leaving Ethan alone with his tumultuous thoughts. Or so he thought. As the door closed behind Olivia, he heard a soft voice from the corner of the room. That was intense. Ethan looked up to see Alana emerging from behind a privacy screen, a sympathetic smile on her face. "You heard all that?" he asked, embarrassment coloring his cheeks. She nodded, moving to sit beside him. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to eavesdrop. I wanted to make sure you were okay." Ethan felt a wave of gratitude wash over him. "I'm glad you stayed," he admitted. "I feel like I'm losing my mind, Alana. Everyone wants me to be this person I don't recognize, but the only thing that feels real is..." He trailed off, suddenly aware of how close they were sitting, of the warmth of her presence beside him. Alana met his gaze, her eyes full of an emotion Ethan couldn't quite name, but felt deep in his core. "Is what?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. Ethan swallowed hard, knowing he was standing on the edge of a precipice. Whatever he said next would change everything. He thought of Olivia, of the life he was supposed to want, of the expectations weighing on him from all sides. But in that moment, looking into Alana's eyes, Ethan Thompson made a choice not dictated by his past or by others' expectations, but by the person he was becoming. "You," he said simply, "you feel real." As the word left his lips, Ethan knew he had crossed a line from which there was no going back. The future stretched out before him, uncertain and fraught with challenges, but for the first time since waking up, he felt truly alive. In a hospital room in Miami, as the afternoon sun cast long shadows across the floor, two souls stood at a crossroads. The choice they made in that moment would set in motion a chain of events that would test the boundaries of love, loyalty, and self-discovery. For Ethan and Alana, the real journey was just beginning. The days following Ethan's confrontation with the board members were marked by a palpable shift in the atmosphere surrounding his recovery. Word of his reluctance to re-engage with Thompson Technologies spread quickly through Miami's business circles, sending ripples of concern through the company's stock prices and igniting furious speculation about the future of the tech giant. For Ethan, however, the external tumult felt distant compared to the internal transformation he was experiencing. His declaration to Alana had opened a floodgate of emotions and possibilities he was only beginning to explore. On a particularly humid morning, Ethan sat in his hospital room, staring out the window at the bustling city below. He was so lost in thought that he didn't hear the door open. "Penny for your thoughts?" Ethan turned to see Dr. Elena Rodriguez entering the room, a gentle smile on her face. "Dr. Rodriguez," Ethan greeted her, attempting to return the smile. "I'm not sure my thoughts are worth even that much right now." The doctor pulled up a chair, her expression turning serious. "I heard about the meeting with your board members. How are you feeling about everything?" Ethan sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Confused, overwhelmed, a little guilty, if I'm being honest." "Guilty?" Dr. Rodriguez prompted. "Everyone has such high expectations for me," Ethan explained. "Olivia, the board, my family, they all want me to be this person I don't remember being. And I feel like I'm letting them down by not instantly becoming that man again." Dr. Rodriguez nodded thoughtfully. It's not uncommon for patients with amnesia to feel pressure to conform to their old identities. But Ethan, it's important to remember that recovery isn't just about regaining lost memories. It's also about adapting to your new reality. Her words struck a chord with Ethan. What if I don't want to be that person anymore?" he asked hesitantly. "What if the man I'm becoming now is different from who I was before?" "Then that's perfectly okay," Dr. Rodriguez assured him. "Trauma changes people, Ethan, sometimes in ways we can't predict or control. The important thing is to be true to yourself, the self you are now, not the self others remember." As if on cue, there was a soft knock at the door. Alana entered, pushing her cart. She paused when she saw Dr. Rodriguez, clearly not wanting to interrupt. "It's all right, Alana," Dr. Rodriguez said warmly. "I was just finishing up with Mr. Thompson." As Alana began her usual routine of tidying the room, Dr. Rodriguez turned back to Ethan. "Remember, Ethan, your recovery is your own journey. Don't be afraid to explore new paths." With a meaningful glance between Ethan and Alana, the doctor left the room, leaving a charged silence in her wake. Alana busied herself with straightening Ethan's bedside table, her movements betraying a nervousness that hadn't been there before. "How are you feeling today?" she asked, not quite meeting his eyes. "Better now," Ethan said softly, causing Alana to look up at him. The intensity of his gaze made her breath catch. "Alana," Ethan began, his voice low and earnest, "about what I said the other day." "You don't have to explain," Alana interrupted quickly. "I understand. You were overwhelmed, and I was just convenient." Ethan reached out, gently grasping her hand. "No, that's not it at all. Alana, you're the only thing that's felt real to me since I woke up. When I'm with you, I don't feel pressured to be someone I can't remember. You see me for who I am now, and that means everything." Alana's eyes glistened with unshed tears. "Ethan, we can't. You have a life, a fiancé. I'm just a hospital worker. This can't." Her words were cut off by the sound of the door opening. Olivia strode in, her high heels clicking against the linoleum floor. She stopped short at the sight of Ethan and Alana's clasped hands. "What's going on here?" Olivia demanded, her voice sharp. Alana quickly pulled her hand away, stepping back. "Miss Parker, I was just leaving," Olivia finished for her, her tone brooking no argument. As Alana hurried out of the room, Ethan felt a surge of anger. "You didn't have to do that, Olivia. Alana was just helping me." Olivia's expression softened as she turned to Ethan. I'm sorry, darling. I'm just worried about you. The company is in chaos. The board is threatening to appoint an interim CEO, and I feel like I'm losing you. Guilt washed over Ethan as he saw the pain in Olivia's eyes. I'm sorry, Olivia. I know this is hard for you too. I need time to figure out who I am now. Olivia sat on the edge of his bed, taking his hand in hers. I understand. But Ethan, we had a life together. A good life. Don't you want to remember that? Ethan looked at her, seeing the beautiful, accomplished woman he was supposed to love. But when he searched his heart, he felt only a distant affection, nothing like the spark he felt with Alana. I want to remember, he said carefully, but I also need to be true to who I am now, and I'm not sure that person fits into the life we had before. Olivia's face crumpled, tears spilling down her cheeks. Are you breaking up with me? Ethan felt a pang of remorse, but also a sense of relief at finally voicing his feelings. I don't know, Olivia. I just know that I can't pretend to be someone I'm not. It's not fair to either of us. As Olivia broke down, sobbing into her hands, Ethan felt the weight of his decision settling onto his shoulders. He knew he was causing pain, upending lives, but he also felt, for the first time since waking up, that he was being true to himself. Outside in the hallway, Alana leaned against the wall, her heart racing. She hadn't meant to eavesdrop, but she'd heard enough to know that everything was changing. As she pushed her cart down the corridor, she felt a mix of hope and fear. Hope for a future with Ethan that she'd barely allowed herself to imagine, and fear of the obstacles that still stood in their way. As the Miami sun began to set, casting long shadows across the hospital room, 3 lives stood at a crossroads. Ethan, embracing his new self and the uncertain future it promised. Olivia, facing the crumbling of the life she'd carefully constructed. And Alana, daring to hope for a love she never expected to find. The stage was set for a dramatic reshaping of their world, with consequences that would ripple far beyond the walls of Miami General Hospital. As night fell over the city, the real drama was just beginning to unfold. The news of Ethan Thompson's apparent break from his past life spread through Miami's elite circles like wildfire. Within days, the story had morphed from whispered gossip at country club brunches to front-page headlines in the local papers. "Tech tycoon suffers identity crisis," screamed one tabloid, while a more reputable business journal ran with "Thompson Technologies in turmoil as CEO struggles with memory loss." For Ethan, ensconced in the relative safety of his hospital room, the outside world's reaction felt distant and surreal. His focus had narrowed to his immediate surroundings and the people who populated his new reality. Chief among them was Alana, whose presence had become both a comfort and a source of growing conflict. On a particularly tense morning, Ethan sat in his room, absently flipping through a tech magazine Olivia had brought him. The articles about AI advancements and market trends that should have fascinated him now felt as foreign as ancient hieroglyphics. He tossed the magazine aside with a frustrated sigh, just as a soft knock sounded at his door. "Come in," he called, his mood instantly lifting as Alana entered, pushing her familiar cart. "Good morning, Ethan," she said, her smile warm but tinged with caution. "How are you feeling today?" Ethan's answering smile was genuine. "Better now that you're here," he said softly, causing a blush to rise on Alana's cheeks. As Alana busied herself with her usual tasks, a comfortable silence fell between them. Ethan watched her move about the room, struck once again by the grace and kindness that seemed to radiate from her every gesture. "Alana," he began, his voice low and serious, "we need to talk about what's happening between us." Alana paused in her work, her back to Ethan as she took a deep breath. When she turned to face him, her expression was a mixture of longing and fear. "Ethan, I don't think that's a good idea." "Why not?" Ethan pressed, leaning forward in his bed. "I know you feel it too, this connection between us." Alana's eyes glistened with unshed tears. "Of course I feel it. But Ethan, your life is so complicated right now. You're engaged to Olivia. You have a company to run, a whole life to reclaim. I'm just the cleaning lady." Ethan shook his head vehemently. "No, you're so much more than that. Alana, you're the only person who sees me for who I am now, not who I used to be. That means everything to me." Before Alana could respond, the door burst open, revealing a flustered Olivia. Her eyes darted between Ethan and Alana, narrowing as she took in their proximity. "Ethan, we have a situation," Olivia said, her voice clipped. She turned to Alana, her tone dismissive. "You can go now." Alana nodded, quickly gathering her things and hurrying out of the room. As she passed Olivia, the contrast between the two women couldn't have been starker. Olivia in her designer suit and perfectly coiffed hair. Alana in her simple hospital uniform. Once Alana had left, Olivia turned to Ethan, her expression a mixture of frustration and concern. "The board is in an uproar. They're talking about forcing a vote to remove you as CEO." Ethan felt a twinge of guilt at the panic in Olivia's voice, but it was overshadowed by a strange sense of relief. "Maybe that's for the best," he said quietly. Olivia stared at him in disbelief. "How can you say that, Ethan? This company is your life's work. You've poured everything into it. You can't just walk away." "But that's just it, Olivia," Ethan said, his voice growing stronger. "I don't remember pouring everything into it. I don't remember building it or loving it. The man who did those things, he's not me anymore." Olivia sank into the chair by his bed, her composure cracking. "Then who are you, Ethan?" "Because the man I fell in love with, the man I agreed to marry, he wouldn't give up so easily." Ethan reached out, taking Olivia's hand in a gesture of comfort that felt more obligatory than genuine. "I'm sorry, Olivia. I know this isn't fair to you, but I can't pretend to be someone I'm not, even for you." Tears spilled down Olivia's cheeks as she pulled her hand away. "Is this because of her? That girl?" Ethan sighed, knowing he owed Olivia the truth. "Alana is part of it, yes, but it's more than that. It's about who I am now, who I want to be." Olivia stood abruptly, wiping away her tears with an angry swipe. "You're making a mistake, Ethan. You're throwing away everything we've built together for some fantasy with a woman you barely know." As Olivia stormed out of the room, Ethan felt a mixture of guilt and relief wash over him. He knew he was causing pain, upending lives, but he also felt, for the first time since waking up, that he was on the right path. Outside in the hallway, Alana leaned against the wall, her heart racing. She hadn't meant to eavesdrop, but she'd heard enough to know that everything was changing. As she pushed her cart down the corridor, she felt a mix of hope and fear. Hope for a future with Ethan that she'd barely allowed herself to imagine, and fear of the obstacles that still stood in their way. Meanwhile, in the executive boardroom of Thompson Technologies, an emergency meeting was underway. Harold Blackwell, the silver-haired CFO, addressed the gathered board members, his tone grave. "Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached a critical juncture. With Ethan Thompson apparently unwilling or unable to resume his duties, we must consider our options for the future of this company." As the board members debated the merits of appointing an interim CEO or seeking a buyer for the company, none of them could have predicted the storm that was brewing. For in his hospital room, Ethan Thompson was making decisions that would send shockwaves through the business world and beyond. As the Miami sun began to set, casting long shadows across the city skyline, the stage was set for a dramatic reshaping of fortunes and futures. The tech empire Ethan had built stood on the brink of transformation, while three intertwined lives, Ethan's, Olivia's, and Alana's, teetered on the edge of irrevocable change. The real drama, it seemed, was just beginning to unfold. The following week brought a whirlwind of changes that would alter the course of Ethan Thompson's life forever. As news of his potential removal as CEO spread, the business world buzzed with speculation, and Thompson Technologies' stock price fluctuated wildly. On a crisp Monday morning, Ethan sat in his hospital room, surrounded by an array of documents. "Doctor," Rodriguez had finally cleared him for discharge, and he was preparing to face the world outside the protective cocoon of Miami General Hospital. A soft knock at the door drew his attention. "Come in," he called, expecting to see a nurse or perhaps Alana. Instead, it was Jake, his best man and longtime friend, who entered. Jake's usually carefree demeanor was replaced by a look of concern. "Hey, buddy," he said, settling into the chair by Ethan's bed. "And how are you holding up?" Ethan offered a wan smile. "As well as can be expected, I suppose. It's good to see you, Jake." Jake nodded, his expression serious. "Ethan, I've got to ask, are you sure about this? Stepping down from the company, calling off the wedding with Olivia, it's a lot to process." Ethan sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I know it seems crazy, Jake, but I can't keep pretending to be someone I don't remember being. It's not fair to anyone, least of all myself." Jake leaned forward, his voice low and urgent. "But what about everything you've built? The company, your reputation, the life you had with Olivia? Are you really willing to walk away from all of that?" For a moment, Ethan was quiet, considering Jake's words. Then, with a clarity that surprised even himself, he spoke. "Jake, do you remember when we were in college and I used to talk about changing the world? Not just making money, but really making a difference?" Jake nodded slowly. "Yeah, you were always going on about sustainable technology and ethical innovation, but then you got into the big leagues. And, well, things changed." Ethan's eyes lit up with a passion Jake hadn't seen in years. "That's the thing, Jake. I don't remember changing. I don't remember deciding that profit was more important than purpose. And now I have a chance to go back to those ideals, to be the person I always wanted to be." As Jake absorbed Ethan's words, the door opened again, and Alana entered. She paused when she saw Jake, uncertainty flickering across her face. Ethan's entire demeanor changed at the sight of her, his face softening into a warm smile. "Alana, come in. I want you to meet Jake, my oldest friend." Jake stood, extending his hand to Alana. As they exchanged pleasantries, he couldn't help but notice the way Ethan's eyes followed Alana's every movement, the gentle intimacy in their interactions. In that moment, Jake understood that his friend's transformation went far beyond memory loss. "Well," Jake said, clearing his throat, "I should get going. Ethan, just be careful, okay? You've got a lot of people counting on you." As Jake left, Alana turned to Ethan, her expression a mixture of concern and affection. "Are you okay?" That seemed intense. Ethan reached out, taking her hand in his. "I'm more than okay, Alana. For the first time since I woke up, I feel like I'm on the right path." Alana squeezed his hand, her voice soft. "And what path is that, Ethan?" He looked at her, his gaze intense and unwavering. "A path where I can be true to myself, where I can make a real difference in the world, and a path where you and I can explore whatever this is between us." Alana's breath caught in her throat. "Ethan, are you sure? There's so much at stake." Before Ethan could respond, there was a commotion in the hallway. Olivia burst into the room, her face flushed with anger and hurt. She stopped short at the sight of Ethan and Alana's clasped hands. So it's true," Olivia said, her voice barely above a whisper. "You're really doing this, throwing everything away for her." Ethan stood, his movements steady despite weeks of bed rest. "Olivia, I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you. But I can't keep living a life I don't remember or want." Olivia's composure cracked, tears spilling down her cheeks. "We were happy, Ethan. We had plans, a future. How can you just walk away from that?" Ethan's voice was gentle but firm. "The man you were happy with, the man you made those plans with, he's gone. Olivia, I'm not him anymore, and pretending to be him would only hurt us both in the long run." As Olivia sobbed, Alana quietly excused herself, giving them privacy. In the hallway, she leaned against the wall, her heart racing. She knew she was witnessing the end of one chapter in Ethan's life and potentially the beginning of another. The magnitude of it all was overwhelming. Back in the room, Ethan handed Olivia a tissue, his touch gentle but no longer intimate. I've made my decision, Olivia. I'm stepping down as CEO of Thompson Technologies. I'm going to use my resources to start a new company, one focused on sustainable technology and ethical innovation. Olivia looked at him, her eyes wide with disbelief. And us? What about our engagement? Ethan's voice was soft but resolute. I think we both know that's over. I'm sorry, Olivia, I truly am. But I can't marry you when my heart is somewhere else. As Olivia left, her sobs echoing down the hallway, Ethan felt a weight lift from his shoulders. He knew the road ahead would be challenging, filled with legal battles, media scrutiny, and personal reckonings. But for the first time since waking up in this hospital room, he felt truly alive, truly himself. He found Alana in the hallway, her face a mixture of hope and uncertainty. "Alana," he said, taking her hands in his, "I know this is all happening so fast, and I know it's a lot to ask, but I want you to be part of this journey with me. Will you?" Alana looked into Ethan's eyes, seeing the man she'd come to know and love over these past weeks, a man of compassion, of vision, of integrity, a man so different from the corporate tycoon she'd first seen, wheeled into the hospital. "Yes," she whispered, her heart full of hope and trepidation. "Yes, I will." As they embraced, the Miami sun streamed through the hospital windows, illuminating the start of a new chapter. Outside, the world waited, full of challenges and opportunities. Ethan Thompson, once a titan of industry, was about to embark on his greatest adventure yet, rediscovering himself and reshaping his world, with Alana by his side. The stage was set for a story of redemption, innovation, and love that would captivate Miami and beyond. As Ethan signed his discharge papers, he knew that this was not an ending, but a beginning. The real journey was just starting, and he was ready to face it head-on, with a clear conscience and an open heart. The day Ethan Thompson walked out of Miami General Hospital was one that would be remembered for years to come. The media frenzy that greeted him was unlike anything the city had seen in recent memory. Reporters jostled for position, their questions overlapping in a cacophony of curiosity and speculation. "Mr. Thompson, is it true you're stepping down as CEO?" "Ethan, what about your engagement to Olivia Parker? Are the rumors about a new love interest true?" Ethan, dressed in a simple button-down shirt and slacks, a far cry from his usual designer suits, stood before the sea of cameras and microphones. At his side, slightly behind him, stood Alana, her presence a quiet source of strength. Taking a deep breath, Ethan addressed the crowd. "Good morning. I know there have been many questions and rumors circulating about my condition and my future. Today, I'd like to set the record straight." The crowd hushed, hanging on his every word. "While I'm grateful for the care I received here at Miami generally and for the support of my colleagues at Thompson Technologies, the truth is that the man who went into that coma is not the same man standing before you today. My accident has given me a rare opportunity, a chance to reassess my life, my goals, and my impact on the world." Ethan paused, his gaze sweeping over the assembled reporters. "Effective immediately. I'm stepping down as CEO of Thompson Technologies. I will be using my resources to launch a new venture focused on sustainable technology and ethical innovation. It's time to return to the ideals that first inspired me to enter this field." The announcement sent shockwaves through the crowd. Cameras flashed furiously as reporters shouted follow-up questions. Ethan held up a hand, silencing them. "As for my personal life, I can confirm that my engagement to Olivia Parker has ended. This decision was not made lightly, and I ask that you respect both our privacies during this time." His eyes softened as he glanced back at Alana. "And I have been fortunate enough to find support and understanding from someone who sees me for who I am now, not who I was before. While our relationship is still new, I look forward to seeing where this journey takes us." With that, Ethan took Alana's hand and led her through the crowd to a waiting car, ignoring the barrage of questions that followed them. As they settled into the back seat and the car pulled away from the curb, Ethan let out a long breath. "Well, that's done," he said, a hint of relief in his voice. Alana squeezed his hand, her eyes filled with a mixture of admiration and concern. "You were amazing out there. But Ethan, are you sure about all this? It's such a huge change." Ethan turned to her, his gaze intense and sincere. "I've never been more sure of anything in my life, or at least in the life I can remember," he added with a wry smile. "Alana, you've shown me what really matters. Kindness, compassion, making a real difference in the world. I want to build something that reflects those values." As the car wound its way through the Miami streets, Ethan and Alana discussed their plans for the future. Ethan's idea for a sustainable technology company had been percolating since his conversations with Alana during his hospital stay. He envisioned developing affordable clean energy solutions, innovative recycling technologies, and ethical AI systems that could address global challenges. "We'll need a team," Ethan mused, "brilliant minds who share our vision, and a name for the company, something that reflects our mission." Alana's eyes lit up. "What about Phoenix Technologies? Rising from the ashes, creating something new and better." Ethan grinned, feeling a surge of excitement. "Phoenix Technologies. I love it." As they arrived at Ethan's penthouse, a place he hadn't seen since before the accident, they were greeted by Jake, who had been handling the logistics of Ethan's return home. "Welcome back, man," Jake said, pulling Ethan into a quick hug. He nodded respectfully to Alana. "Everything's set up as you requested. Your lawyer called. He's ready to start the paperwork for your resignation and the new company whenever you're ready." Ethan clapped Jake on the shoulder. "Thanks, buddy. I couldn't do this without you." As they entered the penthouse, Ethan was struck by how foreign it all felt. The sleek, minimalist decor and expensive art pieces seemed to belong to another person entirely. Alana watched him carefully. "Are you okay?" she asked softly. Ethan nodded slowly. Yeah, just, it's strange. This place, these things, they don't feel like me anymore." Jake, overhearing, chimed in. "You know, if you want a fresh start, we could always find you a new place. Something more you." The idea resonated with Ethan. "You're right. This isn't home anymore. It's time for a change." As the day wore on, Ethan, Alana, and Jake worked on plans for Phoenix Technologies. They drafted mission statements, brainstormed potential projects, and reached out to contacts in the tech world who might be interested in joining their venture. By evening, exhausted but exhilarated, they ordered takeout and sat on the floor of Ethan's living room, surrounded by notebooks and laptops. "To new beginnings," Jake said, raising his soda can in a toast. "To making a difference," Alana added, her eyes shining with pride and affection as she looked at Ethan. "To second chances," Ethan finished, feeling a sense of purpose and contentment he couldn't remember experiencing before. As night fell over Miami, the lights of the city twinkling like stars, Ethan Thompson stood on his balcony, Alana by his side. He thought about the whirlwind of changes that had brought him to this moment: the accident, the coma, the loss of his memories, and the unexpected gift of a new perspective on life. "Are you ready for this?" Alana asked, her voice soft in the warm night air. Ethan turned to her, taking in her beautiful face, her kind eyes, the strength and compassion that had drawn him to her from the start. "With you by my side," he said, pulling her close. "I'm ready for anything." As they shared a tender kiss, the Miami skyline spread out before them like a canvas of possibility. The road ahead would be challenging, filled with obstacles and uncertainties. But for Ethan Thompson and Alana Martinez, it was the beginning of a grand adventure, one that promised not just success, but fulfillment, purpose, and a love born from the ashes of an old life. The story of Phoenix Technologies was about to unfold, and with it, a new chapter in the lives of two people who had found each other against all odds. As the stars twinkled overhead, Ethan and Alana looked to the future with hope, determination, and the unshakable belief that together they could change the world. The weeks following Ethan's dramatic press conference were a whirlwind of activity. The media frenzy surrounding his decision to step down from Thomson Technologies and launch a new venture had barely died down when Ethan and his fledgling team began the arduous process of bringing Phoenix Technologies to life. Ethan had converted the spacious living room of his penthouse into a makeshift office, with whiteboards covering the walls and laptops scattered across every available surface. On this particular morning, he stood before one of the boards, marker in hand, as he outlined their latest project idea to Jake and Alana. "So the core concept is a decentralized energy grid," Ethan explained, his eyes alight with enthusiasm. We'll use a combination of solar, wind, and kinetic energy harvesting, all linked by a blockchain-based distribution system. It could revolutionize how we think about power generation and consumption." Jake nodded, his expression thoughtful. "It's ambitious, no doubt about that, but the infrastructure costs will be offset by long-term savings and increased efficiency." Alana chimed in, her voice confident. She had thrown herself into learning about sustainable technology with a passion that matched Ethan's own. Plus, think of the positive environmental impact. Ethan beamed at her, still amazed by how in sync they were. "Exactly. This isn't just about profit. It's about creating real, lasting change." As they continued to brainstorm, Ethan's phone buzzed insistently. He glanced at the screen and frowned. "It's Olivia," he said, a hint of apprehension in his voice. Alana and Jake exchanged a look. "You should take it," Alana said softly. "It might be important." Ethan nodded, stepping out onto the balcony for privacy. "Olivia, is everything okay?" Olivia's voice came through, tense and clipped. "Ethan, we need to talk. The board is in an uproar. Your sudden departure has left the company vulnerable, and there's talk of a hostile takeover." Ethan felt a pang of guilt. Despite his decision to leave, he never wanted to see the company he built suffer. "I'm sorry to hear that, Olivia. What can I do?" "They want you to come back, Ethan, just temporarily, to steady the ship. Your presence could calm the investors and give us time to implement a transition plan." Ethan's mind raced. The idea of returning to Thomson Technologies, even briefly, filled him with dread. It felt like a step backward, away from the new life he was building. But he couldn't ignore the responsibility he felt towards the employees, whose livelihoods depended on the company's stability. "Let me think about it," he said finally. "I'll get back to you soon." As he ended the call, Ethan turned to find Alana standing in the doorway, concern etched on her face. "Is everything all right?" she asked. Ethan sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Thomson Technologies is in trouble. They want me to come back, at least for a while." Alana's expression was unreadable. "And what do you want to do?" "I don't know," Ethan admitted. "Part of me feels responsible, like I should help, but the thought of going back there, of being that person again." Alana stepped closer, taking his hand in hers. "Ethan, listen to me. You're not abandoning your responsibilities by choosing a different path. Sometimes the most responsible thing we can do is stay true to ourselves." Her words resonated deeply with Ethan. He pulled her into an embrace, drawing strength from her presence. "What did I do to deserve you?" he murmured into her hair. As they stood there, the Miami skyline stretching out before them, Ethan felt a sense of clarity wash over him. He knew what he had to do. Re-entering the living room, Ethan addressed Jake and Alana. I'm not going back to Thomson Technologies," he said firmly, "but I do have an idea." Over the next hour, Ethan outlined a bold plan. Instead of returning to his old company, he proposed a collaboration between Thomson Technologies and Phoenix Technologies. They would offer to develop sustainable solutions for Thomson's existing products and services, creating a mutually beneficial partnership that could save the company while advancing Phoenix's mission. It's risky," Jake cautioned. "Thomson's board might see it as a ploy to take control. Then we'll make it clear that this is a limited engagement," Ethan countered. We're not looking to absorb Thompson Technologies. We're offering them a lifeline and a chance to be part of something revolutionary." Alana's eyes shone with pride. "It's brilliant, Ethan. It stays true to our goals while potentially saving thousands of jobs." With the team in agreement, Ethan called Olivia back, outlining his proposal. There was a long pause on the other end of the line. "It's an interesting idea," Olivia said finally, her tone cautiously optimistic. "I'll present it to the board, but Ethan, you'll need to make the pitch yourself. Your vision, your passion, that's what they need to see." Ethan agreed, setting up a meeting for the following week. As he hung up, he felt a mixture of excitement and trepidation. This would be his first time facing his old colleagues since his dramatic departure. The days leading up to the board meeting were intense. Ethan, Alana, and Jake worked tirelessly to refine their proposal, preparing for every possible question and objection. They brought in experts in sustainable technology and corporate partnerships to strengthen their case. On the morning of the meeting, Ethan stood before his bedroom mirror, adjusting his tie. He had opted for a suit, a concession to the corporate world he was re-entering, but chose one in a shade of green that subtly reinforced Phoenix's environmental mission. Alana appeared in the doorway, looking professional, yet approachable in a tailored pantsuit. "Ready?" she asked, her voice conveying both support and question. Ethan turned to her, drinking in her presence. In the weeks since his discharge from the hospital, their relationship had deepened, growing into a partnership that transcended both the personal and professional realm. "With you by my side, I'm ready for anything," he said, echoing the words he'd spoken on that first night of their new beginning. As they drove to the Thompson Technologies headquarters, Ethan felt a surreal sense of déjà vu. The last time he'd made this drive, he had been a different man, ambitious, certainly, but also driven by profit and personal gain. Now, as he looked at Alana in the passenger seat and thought of the vision they shared for Phoenix Technologies, he knew he was exactly where he was meant to be. Entering the familiar boardroom, Ethan was met with a mix of curious and skeptical faces. Olivia sat at the head of the table, her expression unreadable. As Ethan began his presentation, he could feel the energy in the room shift. He spoke passionately about the potential for sustainable technology, not just as a moral imperative, but as a sound business strategy. He outlined how a partnership between Thompson and Phoenix could position both companies at the forefront of a rapidly evolving industry. "Gentlemen, ladies," Ethan concluded, his voice ringing with conviction, "we have an opportunity here to do more than just save a company. We have a chance to redefine what corporate success looks like in the 21st century, to prove that profit and purpose can go hand in hand. Are you ready to be part of that revolution?" As Ethan finished speaking, the room erupted in discussion. Questions flew, concerns were raised, but underlying it all was a palpable sense of excitement. Even the most hardened skeptics on the board couldn't deny the potential of what Ethan was proposing. After what felt like hours of debate and negotiation, a consensus was reached. Thompson Technologies would enter into a strategic partnership with Phoenix, with the possibility of a more permanent arrangement down the line. As the meeting adjourned, Olivia approached Ethan and Alana. For a moment, the air was thick with unspoken emotions, regret, acceptance, and a bittersweet acknowledgement of change. "You did good, Ethan," Olivia said softly. "Different, but good. I think this version of you might just change the world." With a nod to Alana and a last lingering look at Ethan, Olivia turned and walked away, her heels clicking on the polished floor, the sound of one chapter closing and another beginning. As Ethan and Alana left the building, stepping out into the bright Miami sunshine, they felt the weight of possibility settling around them. Phoenix Technologies was no longer just a dream. It was a reality, one with the potential to transform not just their lives, but countless others. "So," Alana said, a hint of playfulness in her voice, "ready to change the world, Mr. Thompson?" Ethan grinned, pulling her close. "With you, always." As they drove away from Thompson Technologies, the skyline of Miami spread out before them like a canvas of endless possibility. For Ethan Thompson and Alana Martinez, this was more than just a new business venture or a fresh start. It was the beginning of a grand adventure, one that promised not just success, but fulfillment, purpose, and a love that had blossomed against all odds. The story of Phoenix Technologies was just beginning, and with it, a new chapter in the lives of two people who had found each other in the most unexpected of circumstances. As the sun shone down on their intertwined hands, Ethan and Alana looked to the future with hope, determination, and the unshakable belief that together they could indeed change the world. 6 months had passed since the fateful board meeting that launched the partnership between Thompson Technologies and Phoenix Technologies. The Miami business world, initially skeptical of Ethan Thompson's dramatic career pivot, was now abuzz with excitement over the innovative projects emerging from this unlikely collaboration. On a warm autumn morning, Ethan stood at the podium of a crowded conference hall, addressing an audience of industry leaders, environmental activists, and curious onlookers. Behind him, a large screen displayed the Phoenix Technologies logo, a stylized bird rising from flames, its wings forming a circuit board pattern. "Ladies and gentlemen," Ethan began, his voice resonating with passion and conviction, "today marks a significant milestone in our journey towards a sustainable future. I'm thrilled to announce that Phoenix Technologies, in partnership with Thompson Tech, has successfully implemented our decentralized energy grid in 3 Miami neighborhoods." A wave of applause rippled through the audience. Ethan's gaze found Alana in the front row, her proud smile fueling his confidence. "This isn't just about providing cleaner energy," he continued. "It's about empowering communities, creating jobs, and proving that ethical innovation can be both profitable and transformative. And this is just the beginning." As Ethan outlined the next phase of their plans, including an ambitious project to develop biodegradable electronics, he could sense the energy in the room building. People were leaning forward in their seats, eyes alight with the possibilities he was presenting. After the presentation, as Ethan navigated through a sea of handshakes and congratulations, he felt a tap on his shoulder. Turning, he found himself face to face with Olivia Parker. "Impressive work, Ethan," she said, her tone professional but with a hint of warmth. "Thompson Tech's stock is up 15% since the partnership announcement. The board couldn't be happier." Ethan smiled, genuinely pleased to see her. The awkwardness that had initially characterized their post-breakup interactions had gradually given way to a respectful, if somewhat distant, professional relationship. "That's great news, Olivia. How are you doing? I heard you've been spearheading the company's new AI ethics initiative." Olivia nodded, a flash of enthusiasm crossing her face. "Yes, it's been challenging but incredibly rewarding. In a way, I have you to thank for that. Your change of perspective inspired some soul-searching of my own." Before Ethan could respond, Alana approached, her hand naturally finding its way into his. "Olivia, it's good to see you," she said, her tone sincere. Olivia's gaze flickered between them, a fleeting shadow of what might have been crossing her features before she smoothed it away with a polite smile. "You too, Alana. You should be proud. I hear you've been instrumental in developing the community outreach programs for the Energy Grid project." As the three of them chatted, Ethan marveled at how much had changed. 6 months ago, this scenario would have seemed impossible. Now, it felt like a natural evolution, 3 professionals united by a common goal, personal history set aside in service of a greater purpose. Later that evening, Ethan and Alana strolled hand in hand along Miami Beach, the setting sun painting the sky in vibrant oranges and pinks. They had traded their business attire for casual beachwear, relishing the opportunity to unwind after the high-stakes presentation. "You were amazing today," Alana said, squeezing Ethan's hand. And the way you spoke about our vision, I could see people's minds opening to the possibilities. Ethan pulled her close, planting a kiss on her forehead. I couldn't have done any of this without you, you know. Your compassion, your insights, they've shaped everything we're building. As they walked, Ethan's mind wandered to the journey that had brought them to this point. The accident that had wiped away his memories but opened his eyes to a new way of living. The weeks in the hospital where an unexpected connection blossomed into love. The challenges they'd faced in launching Phoenix Technologies and convincing the business world that profit and purpose could coexist. Penny, for your thoughts, Alana asked, noticing his contemplative mood. Ethan smiled, turning to face her as they stopped walking. The beach was nearly empty now, the sound of the waves providing a soothing backdrop. I was just thinking about how lucky I am, he said softly. Not just professionally, but personally. Finding you, building this life together, it's more than I could have ever imagined. Alana's eyes shimmered with emotion. I feel the same way. Sometimes, I still can't believe how much our lives have changed in such a short time. Ethan took a deep breath, his heart racing with nervous excitement. He had been planning this moment for weeks, waiting for the perfect opportunity. Alana, he began, taking both her hands in his, you've been by my side through the most challenging and rewarding months of my life, or at least, the life I can remember. He chuckled softly at their inside joke. You've seen me at my most vulnerable and my most inspired. You've challenged me, supported me, and loved me in a way I never knew was possible. Alana's breath caught as Ethan slowly lowered himself to one knee, pulling a small velvet box from his pocket. I may not remember my past, but I know with absolute certainty that I want my future to be with you. Alana Martinez, will you marry me? Tears spilled down Alana's cheeks as she nodded emphatically. Yes, she whispered, then louder. Yes, of course I'll marry you. As Ethan slipped the ring, a modest but beautiful emerald, symbolizing growth and new beginnings, onto her finger, cheers erupted from further down the beach. They looked up to see Jake and a small group of their closest friends emerging from behind a dune, champagne bottles in hand. The impromptu celebration lasted well into the night, with toasts, laughter, and heartfelt congratulations. As Ethan and Alana stood surrounded by their chosen family, the Miami skyline twinkling in the distance, they felt a profound sense of gratitude and excitement for the future. Later, as they lay in bed in their new home, a cozy beachfront cottage that better reflected their values than Ethan's old penthouse, Alana traced lazy patterns on Ethan's chest. You know, she said thoughtfully, a year ago, if someone had told me I'd be engaged to Ethan Thompson, helping run a sustainable tech company, I would have thought they were crazy. Ethan chuckled, pulling her closer. Life has a funny way of surprising us. I may have lost my old memories, but I wouldn't trade the ones we've made together for anything. As they drifted off to sleep, wrapped in each other's arms, the gentle sound of waves in the background, Ethan and Alana felt a deep sense of contentment. They had faced numerous challenges and knew there would be more to come, but together they were ready for whatever life had in store. The story of Phoenix Technologies was still unfolding, promising innovation, purpose, and positive change. And alongside it, the love story of Ethan and Alana continued to blossom, a testament to the power of second chances, the strength found in vulnerability, and the transformative potential of choosing a different path. As Miami slumbered around them, two hearts beat as one, dreaming of a future filled with promise, purpose, and the endless possibilities that come from daring to rise from the ashes and spread one's wings. The year following Ethan and Alana's engagement was a whirlwind of personal and professional milestones. Phoenix Technologies had grown from a fledgling startup to a respected name in sustainable innovation, with projects spanning across the United States and beyond. As their wedding day approached, Ethan and Alana found themselves balancing the demands of their rapidly expanding company with the excitement of planning their future together. On a crisp spring morning, Ethan stood at the helm of Phoenix Technologies' newly inaugurated headquarters, a state-of-the-art, zero-emission building that served as a living showcase of their sustainable technologies. The lobby bustled with activity as employees and visitors marveled at the living walls, kinetic floor tiles generating electricity with each step, and holographic displays showcasing ongoing projects. Mr. Thompson, a young intern, approached, tablet in hand. The team from the UN Environmental Program has arrived for the tour. Ethan nodded, straightening his tie, made from recycled ocean plastics, a product of one of Phoenix's subsidiary companies. "Thank you, Carlos. I'll be right there." As he made his way to the conference room, Ethan's phone buzzed with a message from Alana. "Don't forget, cake tasting at 3. Love you." A smile spread across his face as he quickly typed a reply. "Wouldn't miss it for the world. Can't wait to see you." Entering the conference room, Ethan was greeted by a diverse group of international delegates. Among them, he recognized Dr. Emilia Cortez, a renowned environmental scientist whose work had been instrumental in shaping global climate policies. "Welcome to Phoenix Technologies," Ethan began, his voice warm and confident. "We're honored to host you today and share our vision for a sustainable future." As Ethan led the group on a tour of the facility, he couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought him to this point. Each innovation they showcased, from advanced carbon capture systems to biodegradable electronics, represented not just technological progress, but a shift in perspective that had begun with his own personal transformation. "Mr. Thompson," Dr. Cortez interjected as they observed a demonstration of Phoenix's new water purification system. "I must admit I was skeptical when I first heard about your company's ambitious goals, but seeing all of this, it's truly remarkable." Ethan smiled, a hint of his old charm mixing with genuine passion. "Thank you, Dr. Cortez. We believe that the key to addressing global challenges lies in reimagining our relationship with technology and the environment. It's not about sacrifice, but about innovation and harmony." As the tour concluded, the delegates gathered in the rooftop garden, a lush oasis powered by the building's solar and wind systems. Over a lunch of sustainably sourced local cuisine, discussions flowed freely about potential collaborations and global initiatives. Ethan found himself in deep conversation with Dr. Cortez about Phoenix's latest project, a plan to revitalize depleted farmland, using a combination of AI-driven crop rotation and natural soil enrichment techniques. The potential impact of this technology in developing nations could be immense, Dr. Cortez mused, her eyes alight with excitement. "To Mr. Thompson, I believe the UN would be very interested in partnering with Phoenix on a pilot program." Ethan's heart raced at the possibilities. "We would be honored to work with the UN on such an initiative." Dr. Cortez, "Perhaps we could set up a follow-up meeting to discuss the details." As the delegates departed, promises of future collaboration filling the air, Ethan checked his watch. He had just enough time to make it to the cake tasting with Alana. Rushing through Miami traffic, Ethan's mind whirled with the day's events. The potential UN partnership could open doors for Phoenix to make a real, tangible difference on a global scale. Yet, as exciting as that prospect was, he found himself equally thrilled by the simple joy of choosing a wedding cake with the woman he loved. Arriving at the bakery, Ethan found Alana already seated, a spread of cake samples before her. Her face lit up as he entered, and Ethan felt the familiar warmth that her presence always brought. "Sorry I'm a little late," he said, leaning in to kiss her cheek. "The meeting with the UN delegates ran long, but it went incredibly well." Alana squeezed his hand, her eyes shining with pride. "That's wonderful, Ethan. Tell me all about it while we taste these cakes." As they sampled various flavors, from classic vanilla to exotic passion fruit, Ethan recounted the day's events. Alana listened intently, offering insights and asking thoughtful questions that reminded Ethan why she was not just his partner in life, but an integral part of Phoenix's success. "A UN partnership would be amazing," Alana mused, licking a bit of frosting from her finger. Now, but we need to make sure we don't lose sight of our local initiatives. Remember, change starts at home. Ethan nodded, once again marveling at Alana's ability to keep him grounded. You're absolutely right. Balance is key. As they debated the merits of different cake flavors, their conversation drifted to wedding plans and hopes for the future. Despite the growing demands of their professional lives, moments like these reminded them of the importance of nurturing their personal relationship. You know, Ethan said softly, reaching across the table to take Alana's hand. With all the craziness of running Phoenix, sometimes I have to pinch myself to believe this is real, that I get to change the world and marry the woman of my dreams. Alana's eyes misted over. I feel the same way. We've come so far from those days in the hospital. I'm so proud of you, Ethan, and of what we're building together. As they left the bakery, having finally settled on a lemon lavender cake with buttercream frosting, Ethan's phone buzzed with an email from Dr. Cortez. The UN was eager to move forward with the partnership, proposing a series of meetings to hash out the details. Ethan showed the email to Alana, both of them buzzing with excitement at the possibilities ahead. As they walked hand in hand down the Miami sidewalk, the setting sun casting a golden glow over the city, they felt a profound sense of purpose and unity. The road ahead would undoubtedly bring challenges, balancing the demands of a growing company with their personal lives, navigating the complex world of international partnerships, and continuing to push the boundaries of sustainable innovation. But as Ethan and Alana looked at each other, they knew that together they could face anything. Phoenix Technologies was more than just a company. It was a testament to the power of second chances, the importance of staying true to one's values, and the incredible things that can happen when love and purpose align. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the Miami sky in brilliant hues, Ethan and Alana looked to the future with hope, determination, and the unshakable belief that their greatest adventures were still to come. The winds of progress were blowing, carrying with them the seeds of change that Ethan and Alana had planted, and as they walked towards their future, hand in hand, they knew that the story of Phoenix and their love was far from over. It was, in many ways, just beginning. The day of Ethan and Alana's wedding dawned bright and clear, a perfect Miami morning that seemed to mirror the joy and optimism of the occasion. The ceremony was to be held on the beach near their home, a far cry from the lavish society wedding Ethan might have once envisioned. As Ethan stood beneath an arch woven with local wildflowers and recycled materials, he felt a sense of peace and rightness that he couldn't remember experiencing before. Jake stood beside him as best man, grinning broadly at the assembled guests, a diverse mix of Phoenix employees, local community members, and a few key figures from the business and environmental worlds. The soft strains of acoustic guitar announced Alana's arrival. As she walked down the sandy aisle, radiant in a simple yet elegant dress made from sustainable fabrics, Ethan felt his breath catch. Their eyes met, and in that moment, all the challenges they had faced, all the obstacles they had overcome, seemed to fade away. "Indeed, we gather here today," the officiant began, "to celebrate not just the union of Ethan and Alana, but the power of transformation, second chances, and the beauty that can arise from unexpected circumstances." As they exchanged vows, Ethan and Alana's words reflected not just their love for each other, but their shared commitment to making a positive impact on the world. "Alana," Ethan said, his voice thick with emotion, "you didn't just help me recover my health, you helped me discover my true self. With you, I've learned that success isn't measured by wealth or power, but by the positive change we create. I promise to stand by you, to support your dreams, and to work alongside you in building a better world." Alana's eyes shimmered with tears as she responded. And Ethan, your journey has inspired me to reach for heights I never thought possible. Your courage in charting a new path reminds me daily that it's never too late to redefine ourselves. I promise to be your partner in all things, to challenge you when needed, and to always believe in the vision we share. As they sealed their vows with a kiss, cheers erupted from the assembled guests. The celebration that followed was a joyous blend of tradition and innovation, local, sustainably sourced cuisine, decorations made from reclaimed materials, and even a dance floor that generated electricity from the guests' movements. Amidst the festivities, Ethan found himself in conversation with Dr. Amelia Cortez, who had flown in for the wedding. "Congratulations, Ethan," she said warmly. "I must say, this wedding is a perfect reflection of Phoenix's ethos, joyful, community-oriented, and mindful of its environmental impact." Ethan beamed with pride. "Thank you, Amelia. Alana and I wanted every aspect of our wedding to align with our values. Speaking of which, how are the preparations coming for the UN pilot program?" Dr. Cortez's eyes lit up. "Incredibly well. The first phase is set to launch in East Africa next month. Your team's work on the AI-driven crop rotation system is truly groundbreaking." As they discussed the project's potential impact, Ethan felt a tap on his shoulder. He turned to find Olivia standing there, a small, wrapped package in her hands. "Ethan, Alana," she said, her voice warm but tinged with a hint of wistfulness. "Congratulations. I wanted to give you this in person." As Ethan and Alana unwrapped the gift, they gasped in surprise. It was a beautifully framed photograph of the three of them at the hospital, taken on the day Ethan was discharged. "I know it might seem like an odd choice," Olivia explained, "but I wanted you to have a reminder of where this all began. That day was painful for me, but it was also the start of something important for all of us." Alana's eyes welled up as she hugged Olivia. "Thank you," she said softly. "This means so much." As Olivia moved away to mingle with other guests, Ethan and Alana shared a look of amazement at how far they had all come. The reception continued into the night, a celebration not just of Ethan and Alana's love, but of the community and mission they had built together. As the evening wound down, the newlyweds slipped away to a quiet spot on the beach. "Mrs. Thompson," Ethan said playfully, pulling Alana close. "How does it feel?" Alana laughed, a sound that still made Ethan's heart skip a beat. "Wonderful, Mr. Martinez," she retorted, using the name Ethan had chosen to take, a symbol of his new life and identity. As they stood there, the sound of waves lapping at the shore and distant laughter from their guests creating a perfect backdrop, Ethan and Alana reflected on the journey that had brought them to this moment. "You know," Ethan mused, "when I woke up in that hospital bed with no memories, I never could have imagined this. Building Phoenix, making a real difference in the world, finding a love like ours. It's more than I could have ever dreamed." Alana nestled closer to him. "It's funny how life works out. Your accident, as terrible as it was, set off a chain of events that's changing the world for the better. It's like ripples in a pond, spreading out and touching lives we may never even know about." Ethan nodded, struck by the truth of her words. "And this is just the beginning. With the UN partnership, our new projects, who knows what we might achieve?" As they sealed this promise with a kiss, fireworks burst overhead, an eco-friendly display using Phoenix's latest clean energy technology. The colorful bursts illuminated the sky, a fitting metaphor for the bright future that lay ahead. The wedding of Ethan and Alana marked more than just the union of two people in love. It was a celebration of transformation, of the power of second chances, and of the incredible things that can happen when purpose and passion align. As the Miami night enveloped them, stars twinkling overhead, Ethan and Alana stood on the threshold of a new chapter, not just in their lives, but in the ongoing story of innovation, sustainability, and positive change that they were writing together. The ripples from their union, their work, and their love would continue to spread, touching lives and inspiring change in ways they could only begin to imagine. For Ethan and Alana, this was not an ending, but a beautiful new beginning of their life together, of Phoenix's mission, and of a future filled with endless possibilities. The year following Ethan and Alana's wedding was marked by rapid growth and expanding influence for Phoenix Technologies. Their partnership with the United Nations had opened doors to global markets and challenges, pushing the company to innovate at an unprecedented pace. On a warm autumn morning, Ethan stood at the window of his office in Phoenix's Miami headquarters, gazing out at the city skyline. The view had changed significantly over the past year, with several buildings now sporting Phoenix's signature green energy systems. A knock at the door interrupted his reverie. "Come in," he called, turning to see Alana entering, tablet in hand and an excited gleam in her eye. "Ethan, you need to see this," she said, handing him the tablet. On the screen was a live news feed from a small village in Kenya, where Phoenix's AI-driven crop rotation and soil enrichment system was being unveiled. The footage showed lush fields of crops where barren land had once stood. Villagers gathered around a Phoenix technician, their faces beaming with hope and gratitude. As the camera panned out, Ethan could see solar panels and wind turbines in the background, part of the integrated energy system they had developed. "It's working even better than we hoped," Alana said, her voice filled with emotion. "The crop yield has increased by 300%, and the excess energy is powering schools and medical facilities in neighboring villages." Ethan pulled Alana into a tight embrace, overwhelmed by the tangible impact of their work. "This is incredible," he murmured. "We're really doing it, aren't we? Making a difference." Their moment of celebration was interrupted by Jake bursting into the office, his usual easygoing demeanor replaced by urgency. "Guys, we have a situation. You need to see this." He grabbed the remote, turning on the large screen on the wall. A news anchor appeared, her expression grave. Breaking news. A massive oil spill has occurred off the coast of Brazil, threatening marine life and coastal communities. Experts are calling it one of the worst environmental disasters in recent history. Ethan, Alana, and Jake watched in horror as footage showed oil-slicked waters and distressed wildlife. The anchor continued. "Clean-up efforts are underway, but traditional methods are proving ineffective against the scale of the disaster." As the report ended, a heavy silence fell over the room. Then, almost in unison, Ethan and Alana turned to each other, a spark of determination in their eyes. "The nanofiltration system," Ethan said. Alana nodded, already reaching for her phone. "Well, it's still in the prototype phase, but it's our best shot," Jake finished, catching onto their train of thought. Over the next few hours, the Phoenix headquarters transformed into a hive of activity. Engineers were called in, prototypes were rushed from the lab, and logistics teams worked feverishly to arrange transportation to Brazil. Ethan found himself in a video conference with Brazilian officials and representatives from major oil companies. "I know our technology is untested on this scale," he explained, his voice steady and persuasive. "But our simulations show it could clean up the spill in half the time of conventional methods with minimal impact on marine life." There was skepticism, of course, and concerns about cost and feasibility. But as Ethan laid out the potential of Phoenix's nanofiltration system, swarms of microscopic robots that could separate oil from water at the molecular level, he could see the tide of opinion turning. "Mr. Thompson," the Brazilian environmental minister said finally, "given the urgency of the situation, we are prepared to give Phoenix Technologies the green light. How soon can your team be on site?" Ethan glanced at Alana, who nodded confidently. "We can have an advanced team on the ground within 24 hours, he replied. "Full deployment will follow within the week." As the video conference ended, a cheer went up from the Phoenix employees who had gathered to watch. Ethan turned to address them, his heart swelling with pride. "This is what we've been working towards," he said, his voice carrying across the suddenly quiet room. "A chance to make a real, immediate difference in the face of environmental disaster. I know I'm asking a lot, but I need every one of you to give your all in the coming days and weeks. The world is watching, and more importantly, countless lives, human and animal, are depending on us." The response was immediate and overwhelming. Volunteers stepped forward, teams reorganized on the fly, and a sense of purpose electrified the air. As night fell, Ethan and Alana found themselves on a private jet bound for Brazil, surrounded by crates of equipment and a team of Phoenix's best engineers. Despite the gravity of the situation, there was an undercurrent of excitement. This was their chance to prove that Phoenix's vision of harmonizing technology and nature could work on a global scale. Are you nervous?" Alana asked softly, taking Ethan's hand as the coastline of Brazil came into view, the oil slick visible even from the air. Ethan squeezed her hand, his eyes fixed on the horizon. "A little," he admitted, "but mostly I feel ready. Like everything we've done, everything we've been through has been leading to this moment." Alana nodded, understanding completely. "Whatever happens, we're in this together. Phoenix, you and me, we're going to give it everything we've got." As the plane began its descent, Ethan and Alana shared a look of determination. They knew the challenges ahead would be immense. Technical obstacles, political pressures, the eyes of the world upon them. But they also knew that this was their chance to show that innovative, eco-friendly technology could rise to meet even the most dire environmental challenges. The next chapter in Phoenix's story was about to unfold against the backdrop of one of the worst ecological disasters in recent memory. For Ethan and Alana, it was more than just a test of their technology. It was a test of their vision, their leadership, and their commitment to making a positive impact on the world. As they stepped off the plane into the humid Brazilian night, the air heavy with the scent of oil and sea, Ethan and Alana stood hand in hand, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The world was watching, and Phoenix Technologies was ready to show that with innovation, determination, and a commitment to harmony between technology and nature, even the darkest environmental disasters could be overcome. The stage was set for Phoenix's greatest challenge yet, and potentially its greatest triumph. The Brazilian coast was a scene of organized chaos as Ethan and Alana stepped onto the oil-slicked beach. The acrid smell of crude oil hung heavy in the air, mingling with the salty breeze. Emergency response teams, environmental scientists, and local volunteers swarmed the area, their faces etched with a mixture of determination and despair. Dr. Luisa Fernandez, the lead Brazilian scientist coordinating the cleanup efforts, greeted them with a grim expression. "Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, thank you for coming so quickly. The situation is dire. We're losing wildlife by the hour, and the oil is spreading faster than we can contain it." Ethan nodded, his jaw set with determination. "We understand, Dr. Fernandez. Our team is ready to deploy immediately. Can you show us to the command center?" As they made their way through the makeshift headquarters, Alana's tablet beeped with an incoming video call. It was Jake, coordinating efforts from Miami. "Hey guys, just got word that the first shipment of nanobots has cleared customs. They should be at your location within the hour." "Great work, Jake," Alana replied. "We'll need every unit we can get. How's production coming on the next batch?" Jake's face turned serious. "And me, we're pushing the labs to their limits, but we're still looking at least 48 hours before the next major shipment. Alana, I hate to say it, but we might not have enough bots to cover the entire affected area." Ethan, overhearing the conversation, felt a knot form in his stomach. They had known going in that they were working with prototypes, that there were risks involved. But facing the reality of the situation, the vast expanse of oil-covered ocean, the limited resources at their disposal, the enormity of the challenge truly hit home. "We'll make it work," Ethan said, his voice steady despite his inner turmoil. "We have to." The next few hours were a blur of activity. As the nanobots arrived, Ethan and Alana worked alongside their team to program and deploy the tiny machines. Each bot, no larger than a grain of sand, was designed to seek out and separate oil molecules from water, collecting the crude in microscopic chambers for later removal. As the first swarm of nanobots hit the water, a hush fell over the assembled crowd. For several tense minutes, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly but surely, a small patch of ocean began to clear, the slick of oil visibly receding. A cheer went up from the Phoenix team, but Ethan and Alana exchanged worried glances. The process was working, but it was slow, too slow to combat the rapidly spreading spill. "We need to accelerate the process," Alana murmured, her mind racing. "If we could increase the bots' processing speed." Ethan nodded, already pulling out his phone to call the engineering team back in Miami. "It's risky," he warned. Pushing the bots beyond their tested limits could cause them to malfunction." "We don't have a choice," Alana replied, her eyes fixed on the horizon where oil-covered seabirds struggled in the waves. "Every minute counts." As night fell, the beach was illuminated by floodlights, the cleanup effort continuing around the clock. Ethan and Alana worked tirelessly, coordinating with their team in Miami to modify the nanobots, programming on the fly. It was a dangerous gamble. One malfunction could not only halt the cleanup, but potentially introduce a new contaminant into the already fragile ecosystem. The stress began to take its toll. Ethan and Alana, running on caffeine and adrenaline, found themselves snapping at each other and their team. The weight of responsibility for the environment, for their company's reputation, for the lives affected by this disaster, pressed down on them like a physical force. It was during one such tense moment, as they argued over the allocation of the limited nanobot supply, that Dr. Fernandez interrupted them. "Mr. and Mrs. Thompson," she said, her voice cutting through their heated discussion, "you need to see this." She led them to a makeshift animal rescue center where volunteers were tending to oil-covered wildlife. In one corner, a young boy cradled a small sea turtle, carefully cleaning its shell with a solution developed by Phoenix. As they watched, the boy looked up, his eyes meeting Ethan's. "Are you the people who made the tiny robots?" he asked in halting English. Ethan knelt beside him, nodding. "Yes, we are." The boy's face broke into a wide smile. "Thank you," he said simply. "You're saving our home." In that moment, the tension that had been building between Ethan and Alana evaporated. They looked at each other, a silent understanding passing between them. This was why they had founded Phoenix, why they had pushed themselves and their team to the limit, not for profit or recognition, but for moments like this, to make a real, tangible difference in the world. Reinvigorated by this reminder of their purpose, Ethan and Alana returned to their work with renewed determination. They pushed through their exhaustion, fine-tuning the nanobots, programming, coordinating with global environmental agencies, and rallying their team both on-site and back in Miami. As dawn broke on the third day of their efforts, satellite imagery revealed a significant reduction in the oil spill's size. The nanobots, operating at peak efficiency thanks to the team's round-the-clock modifications, were making visible progress. Media outlets around the world began to pick up on the story. "Miracle in Brazil, nanotechnology turns tide in oil spill battle," read one headline. "Phoenix Technologies rising to meet environmental challenges," proclaimed another. But for Ethan and Alana, the real victory came in the small moments, the gradual return of wildlife to the cleansed waters, the grateful smiles of local fishermen as they prepared to return to sea, the look of hope in Dr. Fernandez's eyes as she reviewed the latest data. As they stood on the beach, watching the sun rise over an ocean that grew clearer by the hour, Ethan pulled Alana close. "We did it," he said softly, his voice hoarse from exhaustion and emotion. Alana leaned into him, her eyes never leaving the horizon. "We're doing it," she corrected gently. "This is just the beginning." And she was right. The Brazil oil spill was a turning point for Phoenix Technologies. Their success catapulted them onto the world stage, not just as a company with innovative ideas, but as a proven force for environmental good. Inquiries and partnership offers flooded in from governments and organizations around the globe, all eager to harness Phoenix's technology for their own environmental challenges. As Ethan and Alana prepared to return to Miami, exhausted but exhilarated, they knew that their lives and the mission of Phoenix Technologies would never be the same. They had faced their greatest challenge and emerged stronger, more united in their vision than ever before. The journey ahead would bring new challenges, greater responsibilities, and opportunities they could scarcely imagine. But standing there on the Brazilian beach, the evidence of their success stretching out before them, Ethan and Alana were ready for whatever the future might hold. Phoenix had truly risen, and its light was spreading across the world. In the months following the successful cleanup of the Brazilian oil spill, Phoenix Technologies experienced unprecedented growth and recognition. Ethan and Alana found themselves at the center of a global movement, their innovative approach to environmental challenges inspiring a new wave of eco-conscious entrepreneurship. On a crisp autumn morning, exactly 1 year after their wedding, Ethan and Alana stood hand in hand on the stage of a packed auditorium in New York City. The occasion was the United Nations Climate Action Summit, and Phoenix Technologies had been invited to present their vision for a sustainable future. As Ethan looked out at the sea of faces, world leaders, environmental activists, and industry titans, he felt a mix of nervousness and exhilaration. Alana squeezed his hand reassuringly, and he drew strength from her presence. "Ladies and gentlemen," Ethan began, his voice steady and passionate. "A year ago, many of us in this room might have said that the environmental challenges facing our planet were insurmountable. Today, I stand before you to say that not only are these challenges surmountable, but we have the power to transform them into opportunities for innovation, growth, and global cooperation." As Ethan and Alana took turns outlining Phoenix's achievements and future plans, the audience listened with rapt attention. They spoke of the nanobot technology that had cleaned up the Brazilian oil spill, now being adapted to address plastic pollution in the world's oceans. They detailed their AI-driven crop rotation system, which was increasing yields and restoring soil health in drought-stricken regions of Africa and Asia. But it was their newest project that truly captured the imagination of those assembled. "And today," Alana announced, her eyes shining with excitement, "we are thrilled to unveil Phoenix's most ambitious initiative yet, the Global Green Grid." On the giant screen behind them, a simulation played out, showing a network of renewable energy sources, solar, wind, tidal, and geothermal, interconnected across continents and oceans. "Imagine a world," Ethan continued, "where energy poverty is a thing of the past, where every nation, regardless of its geographical location or economic status, has access to clean, renewable energy. This is not just a dream. With the technology we've developed, it's an achievable goal." As they delved into the technical details of the Project E, explaining how Phoenix's advanced AI systems would optimize energy distribution and storage, Ethan could see the spark of hope igniting in the eyes of the audience. This wasn't just another corporate presentation, it was a roadmap to a truly sustainable future. When they finished speaking, the auditorium erupted in applause. As world leaders lined up to shake their hands and discuss potential partnerships, Ethan and Alana shared a look of quiet triumph. They'd come so far from those early days in the hospital, when the idea of Phoenix was just a fragile dream. Later that evening, as they stood on the balcony of their hotel room, overlooking the glittering New York skyline, Alana turned to Ethan with a mischievous smile. "So, Mr. Martinez," she said, using the name Ethan had taken after their marriage, "how does it feel to be changing the world?" Ethan pulled her close, planting a soft kiss on her forehead. "Pretty amazing," he admitted, But you know what feels even better? Doing it with you by my side. Alana's expression softened, and she nestled into his embrace. We've come so far, haven't we? Sometimes I still can't believe that all of this started with you bringing flowers to a stranger in a hospital bed. Ethan finished, his voice warm with memory and love. As they stood there, overlooking the city that never sleeps, Ethan and Alana reflected on the incredible journey that had brought them to this point. The challenges they had faced, the obstacles they had overcome, the lives they had touched, it all seemed almost too extraordinary to be real, yet the evidence of their impact was undeniable. Phoenix Technologies had grown from a small startup to a global force for change, with offices on every continent and projects spanning the globe. Their work was not just transforming the tech industry, but reshaping the very way humanity interacted with the environment. You know, Ethan mused, when I woke up in that hospital with no memories, I never could have imagined this. Building a company, falling in love, standing on the world stage. It's more than I could have ever dreamed. Alana smiled up at him, her eyes shimmering with emotion. Life has a funny way of surprising us. Your accident, as terrible as it was, set off a chain of events that's changing the world for the better. It's like ripples in a pond, Ethan finished, remembering the conversation they'd had on their wedding night, spreading out and touching lives we may never even know about. As they stood there, wrapped in each other's arms, the New York night alive with possibility around them, Ethan and Alana felt a profound sense of gratitude and purpose. They had faced numerous challenges and knew there would be more to come, but together they were ready for whatever life had in store. The story of Phoenix Technologies was far from over. The global Green Grid project would bring new challenges, pushing the boundaries of technology and international cooperation. There would be setbacks and obstacles, moments of doubt and difficulty, but as Ethan and Alana looked out at the city lights, they knew that they were exactly where they were meant to be. Their love, born in the most unexpected of circumstances, had blossomed into a partnership that was transforming the world. Phoenix had truly risen from the ashes of Ethan's past life, spreading its wings to embrace a future filled with hope, innovation, and positive change. As the first light of dawn began to paint the sky, Ethan and Alana turned to each other, their eyes reflecting the promise of the new day. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, guided by their love for each other and their unwavering commitment to making the world a better place. The journey that had begun in a Miami hospital room had led them to the global stage, but in many ways, it felt like their story, and the story of Phoenix, was just beginning. With the whole world before them and endless possibilities on the horizon, Ethan and Alana stepped forward into their future, ready to write the next chapter in their extraordinary tale of love, redemption, and world-changing innovation. I hope you enjoyed today's story. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more stories like this. Leave a like and comment below what you thought of the story. See you in the next video.